They're out of control.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Thursday, June 29th, 2023. This is your award-winning Give Our Nation Media Assassination episode 1568.
This is No Agenda.
Laughing at grown men who meme and broadcasting live from the heart of the Texas Hill Country here in FEMA Region number 6 in the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where we've all concluded that oat milk sucks, I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Oh, man, I even had a misfire. Oat milk. That's right. It's nut sap. Did you have some this morning?
Jay seems to have picked up some sort of an allergy.
From the oat milk?
Normal non-A2 milk.
Oh, boy.
And so she actually likes oat milk. So she has some oat milk, and I said, the thing is they add sugar to it. That would be me.
Yeah.
And he said, no, there's no sugar in this. I got the non-sugar type. Taste it.
But at any point, did you tell her she was drinking nut sap? Because that's just funny.
Well, oats are not nuts, so it's not nuts. She's not drinking almond milk. It's oat.
Oh, that's
so it's
a good
not
point.
Nuts.
Well, what is an oat? What is an oat?
It's like a grain.
Grain sap.
It's a grain.
Well, grain sap.
So I taste this stuff without sugar, unsugared oat milk.
Yeah.
Oh my God, is it terrible?
She should know better. She grew up with you. She should be eating healthy things like, a pancake.
What could be healthier than oat milk?
A pancake with a big egg on top. Like the Dvorak special with hash browns.
Now you're talking.
Yeah, I know. Hey, I'm a healthy man. Bacon.
Dumb.
Yeah,
a lot of bacon.
Yeah, a lot of bacon. I was just looking at the troll room before we started, and the trolls they're jittery.
They're out of control.
Yeah, there's so much going on in the world that they don't know what to do with themselves. So they meme all day long. I gotta meme, gotta do some memes, man. And then they say horrible things. You can just tell
that. What they say that's horrible.
Oh, they're just all like, rap sucks. These show mixes suck. This suck. Curry, you suck. You suck.
Rap sucks.
Rap sucks.
Wow, there's an original thought.
Yeah. So anyway, I understand people are getting all spun up over things. So we're here to spin you down, and this was, without a doubt, the most emailed article of the past few days.
The CDC is out with a new health warning after confirming 5 cases of malaria in the U.S. over the last 2 months. They are the first malaria infections in 20 years to be acquired locally and not linked to travel outside the country. 4 cases are in Florida and 1 in Texas. The CDC says all of the patients receive treatment and are recovering. Malaria is serious, sometimes deadly disease, usually transmitted by mosquitoes. It is not contagious, but mothers can pass malaria to their babies during pregnancy.
Oh, you can pass it to your babies during pregnancy. Well, this is what immediately happened, of course, which we have been talking about since episode 830. 830. That's what, 2015,
so
2016?
You identified the episode of some...
Yeah, I'm not going to play it, but we've been talking about it that long. It actually goes back much further, where I'll play this second report, and then we'll go back into the history and we'll talk about what this is and what this isn't.
They are the pesky part of summertime fun. From kids' camps to backyard barbecues, mosquitoes are often the unwanted guest. But this morning, the CDC is sending a warning about mosquito-transmitted malaria cases. It comes after state health officials have identified 5 locally acquired malaria cases in recent weeks. 4 in Florida, 1 in Texas, all transmitted by mosquito bites.
What was different about this is these happened domestically, meaning people didn't travel abroad and come to the U.S. and then get diagnosed with malaria.
Officials say there is no evidence the cases in the 2 states are linked. In Florida, all 4 cases were detected in Sarasota County. Now, the entire state is under a mosquito-borne illness advisory.
We're really throwing everything we have at the situation right now.
Malaria symptoms can be similar to the flu: fever, body aches and chills, as well as headaches and nausea. With an early diagnosis, malaria is treatable with the help of prescription drugs. Now the CDC is urging doctors to be on high alert.
We need physicians to understand that they should have some suspicion for malaria. And it's not difficult to diagnose, and it's not difficult to treat.
The key, officials say, protection. That includes wearing EPA-approved insect repellents, covering up with long sleeves and pants, especially during dawn and dusk when mosquitoes are most active, and getting rid of any standing water where mosquitoes can lay eggs.
All right. So 5 people have malaria. By the way, people used to get malaria in America. Back in Little House on the Prairie, she wrote into her book.
Oh, malaria was a huge plague all the way up through South Carolina. The whole southern area was plagued with malaria.
Now, how do we
malaria country?
How do we get rid of it?
Mosquito abatement, cleaning up the swamps.
Right.
There's a lot of ways.
Right. So,
and by the way, this story, I wonder if just because of the statistics, if there's not at least this many cases of malaria every year for the last decade.
Exactly.
This is one, this is bull crap that they probably have 2 or 3 cases of malaria in Florida of all places every year. Just random cases. It's the kind of thing that happens.
Of course. No, what is going on here? Stop, people. Stop calling me. I can't talk.
What are they doing?
That's the periodontist calling. I got all kinds of stuff going on. Don't worry about it.
Turn off the phone.
Yeah, pot, kettle.
And thank you. Thank you for the reminder. I'm going to
take your phone off the hook. Yes. So, but this is what everyone is pointing to. This is 2022.
It sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie. Genetically engineered mosquitoes created in a lab and released in the wild, part of an experimental effort to halt the spread of disease. And these biohacked bugs could be followed by billions more. Tonight, we're on your side investigating why critics are concerned and why the state is poised to approve even more manufactured mosquitoes.
Yes, the manufactured mosquitoes. We all know who did it.
Since 2021, UK-based biotech company Oxitec has released millions of genetically modified male Aedes aegypti mosquitoes in the Florida Keys. And the EPA has approved the release of 2.4 billion more in Monroe County and California under an experimental use permit. The lab-created male bugs carry a self-limiting gene, which is intended to kill biting females before they mature.
It's kind of a just add water scenario.
Chad Huff with the Florida Keys Mosquito Control District says the hope is that males pass the gene to enough females to decimate the population.
The male mosquitoes, they don't bite. They never take a blood meal from a human at all. They survive on nectar. They don't even have the mouth parts that make it able to take blood.
He says technicians take the GMO eggs to the property of willing participants, and Mother Nature does the rest.
We have a waiting list. We have people that want to have them on their property, that they see the merit in this and are excited to be on the cutting edge of a technique that in a few years could be everywhere.
Oxitec says its mosquitoes are safe, and the EPA determined there is no risk to people, animals, or the environment.
They're non-toxic, they're non-allergenic. We have a strong track record of proving these to be effective in Brazil, and we saw some great results in the field in Florida last year as well.
Oxitec says the genetically engineered mosquitoes disappear in the wild within months.
As far as making a super mosquito or crossbreeding, mosquitoes don't do that, and it's basically the chance of that happening is eliminated when it's just a male that is being released.
So this story has been around for years and years and years. No one's gotten malaria, but now we're all jacked up. And, it's Bill Gates. Bill Gates is trying to kill us. He's trying to kill us with the mosquitoes. And he's doing it since 2009. This is Bill Gates 2009 at a TED conference. You might remember this one.
For example, there's more money put into baldness drugs than are put into malaria. Now, baldness it's a terrible thing. And rich men are afflicted. And so that's why that priority has been set. But malaria, even the 1 million deaths a year caused by malaria greatly understate its impact. Over 200 million people at any one time are suffering from it. It means that you can't get the economies in these areas going because it holds things back so much. Now, malaria is, of course, transmitted by mosquitoes. I brought some here so you could experience this. We'll let those roam around the auditorium a little bit. There. There's no reason only poor people should have the experience.
So, you remember that? When he actually released all those mosquitoes into the TED conference?
Yeah, we discussed the fact that this was illegal.
Of course. It's also, I mean, where was PETA?
You can't release disease vectors like that in the public for the purposes of whatever purposes.
Humor.
In his case, but
yes,
just not beside the point.
Mm-hmm.
And he should have been arrested for it.
But people didn't die from malaria or catch malaria. And there's been report after report throughout the years of these bioengineered mosquitoes. As far as I'm concerned, they don't work at all. You know, but everyone's all jacked up. Oh, this is Gates with his mosquitoes. No. Here's something I think it might be. At the beginning of the year, BioNTech, who doesn't know them, the mRNA dudes who provide the mRNA for Pfizer, among other vaccines, they started a human trial to test the malaria vaccine. Now, this, I think, could be a problem because I'm starting to learn that this, we looked a little bit at gain of function, and we've been hit over the head with it, to just been beaten like a salmon to the head with a gain of function in the Wuhan lab. But this gain of function, i.e., jacking up stuff in order to test it for vaccines, this actually might be something that has been causing and will cause a lot of problems. And I've been following a lot of RFK Jr. stuff, and he had the literal disinfo dozen on a Zoom call. Mercola, Pierre Corey, all the toppers, all the people we actually respect. And he said,
the winners.
The winners. And he said this:
I will end all gain of function research. I will sign a treaty to end gain of function research to get all the nations to end gain of function research. It's just a disaster. It's given us no benefits. It's given us everything from Lyme disease to COVID and many, many other diseases. That RSV, which is now one of the biggest killers of children, came out of a vaccine lab. And we can go down the whole list of diseases that down to and there's good evidence that even Spanish flu came from vaccine and vaccine research, and we don't know, and we'll probably never know. But there are very, very strong articles suggesting that now. The medical research on these diseases and vaccine research has actually created some of the worst plagues in our history. Anybody who reads The River will come away pretty much convinced that HIV also came from a vaccine program, and there's plenty of evidence of that as well.
Bobby J for president. This guy's like listening to 10 years of no agenda. It's phenomenal.
HIV and Ebola supposedly came from Fort Detrick.
Sure. This doesn't surprise me at all.
Well, I like the fact that he shoved RSV in that little list.
Yeah, nice, isn't it? Yeah, which another vaccine just came out.
So they're so freaked out about this guy that Fox is really against him.
Do you have to? There's a lot of interesting things going on around.
So
him.
I'm watching the 5. I don't have a clip.
Oh, okay.
But I'm watching the 5 and Kayleigh McEnany. No, Dana Perino, the Perino girl.
Yeah.
So she says, "Oh yeah, RFK Jr. He's like he says some good things, but most of his stuff is Looney Tunes." She says, or something like that.
Looney Tunes.
They just really blasted him good. They're all members of some whatever the cult is that they have to obey. They do it.
It's the big. Well, first of all, it's the big pharma cults. They can't say any. He is out there just slamming big pharma, slamming the military-industrial complex. He had a town hall on News Nation,
I have recorded that. I haven't seen it yet.
I have one clip from it. But he's going to be the podcast president. So I have my eye on him. And he went on the Bill Maher podcast as predicted. I have a clip from that. But, truly the things he talks about, it's all no agenda stuff. It really is. Going back 10 years, just all the stuff that we've been talking about, thimerosal, and the whole vaccine scam when they got the immunity from prosecution. You don't have to have placebo trials. The whole big pharma is he's just ripping it apart.
Well, we also have to remember you digging up very early on. This is like 12 years ago.
Yeah, the conference.
Digging up the report from one of the pharma companies showing that this was a
bonanza.
A bonanza.
Yeah,
we can make so much money because there's no liability. We can crank this stuff out. All we need is the propaganda channels, and we can make tons of billions of dollars.
Yes.
And it said they just laid it right out. And as long as they have this lack of liability where who gives a crap if it kills everybody? Because we're not liable because of the government picks up the tab on this.
So it's really interesting.
That's really the problem, by the way.
Well, but it's interesting to see what's happened in a relatively short amount of time. Let me see, 20 years. To me, relatively short. But back when MSNBC started, when was MSNBC? When did that start? Was that 2005? Around that time, 2004, maybe a little earlier.
I actually worked for them.
I wouldn't boast about that.
This is before they were MSNBC today. The original MSNBC was kind of a tech-oriented...
Right, it was Microsoft Network. Yeah, it was NBC
it was a Microsoft
and Bill Gates' stuff. Even I worked for their launch. My company did the chat room for them because Microsoft servers couldn't handle it.
You got this thing about chat rooms.
I'm so regretful about them. But back then, I think this was 2005, RFK Jr. came out with this whole thing talking, and he was connecting autism to the vaccines, to thimerosal. And here's, I got to play. This was on No Agenda Social. I love that someone dug this clip up. This is Chuck Scarborough, who I'm sure is calling RFK Jr. a nut job anti-vaxxer today. In fact, I could probably just drop a needle in any YouTube clip and find him saying that. Back then, no. Oh, it's Bobby. How you doing? The kids are dying. What's going on?
It's as heart-wrenching as it gets. Autism in children. 6 out of every 1,000 kids get it, and nobody knows exactly why. But my next guest says he's got part of the blame that he thinks needs to fall on government, and it has to do with a drug called thimerosal. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is a senior attorney for the...
What?
He called it a drug.
Oh, yeah. It's so incredible the difference between then and now.
The Natural Resources Defense Council. He's author of Deadly Immunity in the current issue of Rolling Stone. It's an investigation of the possible connection between thimerosal and autism in young kids. Hey, Bobby, thanks a lot. And, of course, you also have a great new book. Tell us briefly about that.
First of all, let me say that the Deadly Immunity piece on thimerosal is also running on Salon.com simultaneously, the two magazines.
By the way, this piece ran on Salon, Rolling Stone, etc. They pulled it. They pulled it within a day from all of those publications. You can't even find it on archive.org. It's so bad they pulled this.
And at the same time, my new book is St. Francis of Assisi, A Life of Joy. It's a children's book. I grew up reading books about the saints, but I couldn't find one that would hold my computer-age children's attention. And so I tried to write a book that had the kind of action and, engaging story that would also teach them the values. And it's done very, very well. I'm very happy.
Get back to the drugs.
Well, we want to get you back to talk about that, but let's talk tonight about thimerosal. There are a lot of people out there. When I was practicing law, in fact, I need to say this, we actually practice in the same law firm, no lawsuits regarding...
Who even knew that? Chuck Scarborough and RFK Jr. in the same law firm. This is an incredible piece of history.
Thimerosal, so we can get that off the record. But still, there are a lot of people, a lot of Americans very concerned about the impact of this drug, which is found in vaccines, and how it causes autism.
It's mercury. It's not a drug. It's mercury.
Wait. It's a preservative. that contains mercury.
Correct.
In vaccines and how it causes autism. Talk about that.
Thimerosal is a preservative that was put in vaccines back in the 1930s. Almost immediately after it was put in, autism cases began to appear. Autism had never been known before. It was unknown to science. Then the vaccines were increased in 1989 by the CDC and by a couple of other government agencies.
Okay, let me stop you there. That's an important date, and I'll tell you why. My son, born in 1991, has a slight form of autism called Asperger's. But it seemed, and again, when I was practicing law, and also when I was in Congress, parents would constantly come to me, and they'd bring me videotapes of their children, and they were all around the age of my son or younger. Something happened in 1989.
Exactly. What happened was the vaccine schedule was increased. We went up from receiving about 10 vaccines in our generation to these kids received 24 vaccines. And they all had this thimerosal in them, this mercury, and nobody bothered to do an analysis of what the cumulative impact of all that mercury was doing to kids. As it turns out, we are injecting our children with 400 times the amount of mercury that FDA or EPA considers safe. A child on his first day that he's born is injected with a hepatitis B shot. Under EPA guidelines, he would have to be 275 pounds to safely absorb that shot.
And yet we're just constantly pumping our kids with these vaccines.
Right. And what happened was that in 1988, 1 in every 2,500 American children had autism. Today, 1 in every 166 children have autism. And plus, 1 in 6 children have other kinds of learning disorders, other kinds of neurological disorders, speech delay, language disorders, ADD, hyperactivity, that all seem to be connected, that are all connected.
Yeah. So that goes on and on and on. It's like a 10-minute piece. It's unbelievable, particularly for Chuck Scarborough. His own kid was injured by these things. But Bobby, he's an anti-vaxxer. He's a crazy man. He's nuts.
He's Looney Tunes.
He's Looney Tunes. That's how powerful Big Pharma is. And a part of that piece that got...
By the way, we should give you a borderline clip on that, even though it's from the troll room, the No Agenda Social. Yeah, that's for the producer who posted it in No Agenda Social. He apparently very good find.
He posted it on Twitter and he got put in Twitter jail for a little bit for posting that.
For posting that clip.
That clip, yeah.
All they did, that's just a clip that exists in that's a real clip.
A real clip, yeah. Yeah, we can't have that.
And you get put in Twitter jail because you posted a real clip.
According to our producer, yes. And so
I believe it.
That article contained a transcript of a hidden recording of the Samson Wood conference, where a whole bunch of doctors and pharmaceutical executives and doctors and researchers, along with HMOs, they all got together and they all said, yeah, crap, this stuff is crossing the blood-brain barrier and it's causing autism. It's in the transcript. You can read it. So I was able to get that. I put that in the show notes. So this is it's not an unknown thing, but over time, Big Pharma just took over, just advertised you to death with it, and now we don't even really remember. Whatever. Anti-vaxxer.
Jenny McCarthy, she's nuts.
Yeah, Jenny McCarthy, nut job. They excoriated her so badly that her ex-husband doesn't even like her anymore because of that. Jim Carrey. And at first he was all in. Then he was like, oh no. Anyway, so RFK Jr. does a town hall on News Nation. And I mean to think, who owns News Nation? News Nation, it's not, I'm trying to figure
I already brought this up a few shows ago.
But it's owned by Tribune, I think.
It's a former national WGN, which still does exist as WGN, but now it's just back to local.
Yes.
It's the old WGN network that has been upgraded since the Tribune has been bought and sold. Now it's owned by these guys who want to do more with it.
But all I can see is
it's a Tribune, Chicago Tribune.
Yeah, but it's owned by also some rich Texas families.
Yeah, it's a group of people that own the Tribune now.
Well, there must be an interesting group for them to bring him on, and he does. I just have one clip from this town hall. He does something really interesting here, as of course the News Nation news model tries to kind of trip him up, get him into the game. Come on, man.
Trip him up.
You're not fighting fair. You got to do it the right way.
You say that you're a Democrat, but you're getting a lot of support from a lot of leading voices on the right, like Steve Bannon, Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones, former President
Can you stop
Donald
it for a second?
Yeah.
Okay, so I know you hate memes, but there's a bunch of but memes are interesting.
I don't hate them. I just hate people who do dumb memes. A lot.
Well, that's most memes, but there's some memes showing up now, and I have one of them. I was going to put it. I didn't put it in the newsletter.
You need to post it. You need to post that everywhere. A lot.
So the meme shows it's got Kennedy holding a sign saying, "I'm a lunatic and I'm not a Democrat. I'm a Republican. I'm being used by the Republicans to take votes away from good old Joe Biden."
It's exactly what she's saying here. She is a dank meme.
Okay, so that means that this is a Democrat strategy.
That's what
to make him look like he's not a Republican. This guy, give me a break. This guy is such a this is a born and died Democrat. Period.
Old school
Democrat. He would do nothing to help the Republican Party ever.
But they've spun this into a strategy. Listen.
You say that you're a Democrat, but you're getting a lot of support from a lot of leading voices on the right, like Steve Bannon, Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones, former President Donald Trump. Many Democrats fear that you're a spoiler in the race, that you will damage President Biden in the primary and grease the skids for former President Trump to return to the Oval Office. This week, former President Trump said about you, Kennedy is smart and he's a common sense guy. What kind of man do you think Donald Trump?
Yeah. No. You see what she's trying to do here? Like, come on, man, come on.
This is whatever Trump says the opposite. It's the opposite.
Of course.
So if Trump says something complimentary about you, it's got to be bad. You're a bad guy.
Common sense guy. What kind of man do you think Donald Trump is?
Well, here's what I'm not going to do in this race. I'm not going to attack other people personally. I don't think it's good for our country. And I think, what I'm trying to do in this race is bring people together, is to try to bridge the divide between Americans. And guess what? When my dad died and we took this train ride from, this 7.5-hour train ride that was supposed to be 2 hours, I was with him when he died in Los Angeles, and then we brought his body.
I didn't actually know that. I didn't know that he was there when he was shot at the hotel. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Yeah, that's kind of traumatic. And by the way, notice how the news model set him up with Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson. They're all nut jobs.
I haven't, like I said, I recorded this, but I haven't looked at it yet. I had no idea that this was designed to be a takedown.
Totally. And he parries it like an expert sword fighter.
He's from a political family that is so political, it's not even funny.
You got to get up early.
She's an amateur trying to think she's going to get some kudos for this. This is, by the way, I wish I'd heard it now, because this is, I consider that this is an affront. I thought they were going to do a real town hall, not some sort of a hit job on the guy.
No, this is why he's doing podcasts, and it's a mistake for him to even do this, but he was ready. He knew it was a mistake. He knew what they were going to do, and he's ready. And he has great stories.
From New York, Penn Station to Union Station, and Washington, D.C., and it was a 2.5-hour ride, but it took 7.5 hours because there were 2.5 million people on that train track. And it was a cross-section of America, and all of the major urban stations in Trenton, Newark, Wilmington, and Baltimore. There were black Americans singing Battle Hymn of the Republic. There were whites in the rural areas who were holding up signs, "Goodbye, Bobby, pray for us, Bobby," American flags, standing, saluting. 4 years later, and they had supported my father in the primaries in 1968. 4 years later, in 1972, they were not supporting my father, and they were not supporting George McGovern, who was aligned with my father on all these issues. Instead, the vast majority of them were supporting George Wallace. And, my father was able to harness these populist energies. In the last day of his life, he won the most rural state in this country, South Dakota, and the most urban. He was able to bridge the divide among people who would otherwise be Republican, but wanted somebody who was common sense, who was able to appeal to their idealism, who was able to find the hero in each of them, who was able to get them to transcend narrow self-interest and see themselves as part of the community and part of this, incredible American adventure in modeling self-governance for the rest of the world. And so I'm proud that President Trump likes me, even though I don't agree with him on most of his issues, because I don't want to alienate people. I want to bring people together. I'm proud that all these people like me and that I have independent supporters and Democratic supporters, and that I'm able to bring a lot of people. Every Democrat says, I want to end the polarization. But how do you do that without talking to people who don't agree with you? How do you do that without appealing to people? My purpose is to find the issues, the values that we have in common, rather than, focus on the issues and the personalities that keep us all apart.
So he walked all over the news model, the inexperienced news model, and did a great job. I mean, no matter what she tried, he just had something. He was, man, the voice, I think it's actually a superpower because it's so hard to listen to. You have to listen to it.
Yeah, well, there is this element of the people talking low and doing all these different tricks to make you to strain to listen to them.
Yeah.
And that is, I wouldn't call it a superpower, but it's an advantage in some funny way. I think overall it's a disadvantage because he would love to be an orator.
Yeah, he was. He was an orator. He used to do a lot of speeches back in the day.
And, now he has to, scrunch through his discussions in a way that's painful to listen to. But I'm shocked. I thought they were going to do a legitimate...
No.
Town hall, not some sort of a hit job.
Now compare that answer.
Very disappointed in news. What was it? It's News
Nation.
News Nation. That's like the Chris Cuomo's on.
So compare how he wields off that attack to President Trump, who gets... I mean, I guess this is his standard. He was ready for this question from Brett Baer. But man, and this is a question that a lot of real Trumpers all around Hill Country, this is the one thing they have a problem with, is about the COVID vaccines. Brett Baer really gives him a softball. And this is how he answered it.
Did the COVID vaccine work? It's such an interesting question because not only that, I also did the Regenerons of the world, we did a tremendous job on that. But we had a vaccine. Now you have different COVIDs. You had COVID-19 and then you have different COVIDs. But we had the original was COVID-19, which was the roughest one. So I have a Democrat friend who's very smart. Hopefully he votes for me, but he's very smart. He said, I don't understand one thing about you. I watch your rallies. They're incredible. You talk about beating ISIS, you talk about taxes, you talk about regulation, you talk about everything. But you never said that, I've never heard you talk about how the incredible job you did with the vaccines, because as you know, I got them done in 9 months and it was supposed to take anywhere from 5 to 12 years. I broke their ass, okay? And you know who doesn't like me too much? The FDA, because they were very bureaucratic and I got it done. And he said, you may have saved in the world, throughout the world, 100 million people, and you never talk about it. I said, I really don't want to talk about it because as a Republican, it's not a great thing to talk about because for some reason, it's just not.
For some reason?
Yeah, for some reason, because people love the vaccines and people hate the vaccines.
No. That's not the answer people are looking for. In fact, if he just said, you know what, I got hoodwinked.
He's never going to do that.
Say the FDA hates him. The FDA loves him for that. That was a multi-billion-dollar bonanza. Yeah. Now, for a moment, just to contrast all of that, Ron DeSantis, who is, I guess he's doing some stump speeches. He's in an auditorium. The mic opens up. Here's what the first comment is.
Just came here to let you know that you'll never be our president. You're just another establishment little bitch. Thank you.
Well, okay, let's just, some people are actually here to see me,
some people actually like me. For instance, show of hands, everybody. How many of you are actually going to vote for me? One guy. Okay, I guess this is just really awkward.
This may be a deep fake, but it doesn't matter. I just love someone calling him a little bitch. Then we have, it's so funny, RFK Jr. goes on Bill Maher. And Bill Maher, I would say, is also an old school Democrat. And they agree.
Totally.
They agree on almost
He's an old
everything.
School liberal.
Oh, liberal, yes. And they agree on a lot of things. Maher, very annoying. Oh, goodness. You give that guy 2 hours and he's more annoying than the show. He interrupts continuously, and he's, I have nothing against people smoking weed, but he loses his train of thought all the time. Like, I forgot what I was talking about. But here's just a small, and this is a snide way of saying, I know how the deep state works, and I'll screw the deep state, as the topic comes up of J. Edgar Hoover, who, of course, ran the FBI during Johnson and before. And, the J. Edgar Hoover, not a good guy. We know he was a blackmailer. We know he's done all kinds of, sex blackmail, anything he could do. And he's
the original transsexual.
He black as well. Did you know he was black?
What?
J. Edgar Hoover was black. Yeah, people don't know.
I did not know. Is there any evidence of this?
Mo has presented this evidence quite convincingly. He was a passing black man. We only see him in black and white photos. But yes, this, and I think Mo is correct. So I'll take Mo's word for it. Anyway, so here he is with a little story about his dad when he was Attorney General and the director of FBI, who, of course, works for the Attorney General in theory.
When Johnson took over, did he keep your father on as Attorney General?
Yeah, my father stayed for a while and then resigned. He stayed till he was going to run for Senate. So he stayed on, but he didn't really go to work. And also, half of his employees at the Justice Department were FBI agents who worked for Hoover. And he had a buzzer on his desk for Hoover, which nobody had ever done. He actually treated Hoover as J. Edgar Hoover as his employee. And no other attorney general had ever dared to do that. And I went up to, me and my brothers would go up there and push the button, and, Hoover would have to come up, and he would be very, very pissed off. And I was in Hoover's...
But that wasn't a smart thing to do, was it? No.
I mean, when we were kids, one time...
No, I mean, to humiliate Hoover.
He wasn't humiliating him. He was trying to bring him under control, because he was, he had become a power to himself. And my father was, you need to report to the Attorney General. I'm your putative boss, and I am your actual boss. So as soon as Jack was killed, it was J. Edgar Hoover who called my father and told him that his brother had been shot. And then, an hour later, he called him and told him that his brother was dead. And my father was told a friend of his, he said the tone that he used when he told me that was the same tone that he would use, kind of a matter-of-fact tone that he would use if he had discovered a communist on the faculty of Emory University, that he would call him up for that. So it was like, it was a message. And then after that, he never spoke to my father again.
Kennedy is dangerous to these people. He's very, very dangerous.
Oh, yeah, he's a lot more dangerous than Trump will ever be.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I love listening to his stories. I could listen to him. He's got a million stories. It's really quite compelling. Finally, something different. And that's why Dana Perino, Miss Fox over there, Looney Tunes. He's Looney Tunes. But if you look at the field, now Paul Ryan, never Trumper, who is now on the board of Fox. Funny how that works, isn't it? Not
that funny.
Well, no, but my theory here is, Rupert Murdoch his whole job is to bring in Ron DeSantis. He can't even. He doesn't want Trump, He can't even bring himself to use Ron DeSantis' name. That's how bad it is right now. Listen to this. This is on CNBC.
I'm for anybody not named Trump right now.
Anybody not named Trump?
Anybody not named
RFK? Anybody not named Kennedy?
A Republican not named Trump. I'm for any Republican not named Trump because I think we beat Biden for sure if we nominate a Republican not named Trump.
Any idea who you think could get everybody's down by 40 points.
We're going to find out. Look, Donald Trump and Joe Biden have a symbiotic relationship with each other. They make the best case for each other's candidacies, and it's a total disaster for our country. In a country of 350 million people, you think we could get somebody else.
Do you think you win if you nominate somebody not named Trump?
I do.
Because you make everybody who was supporting Trump very mad.
Yeah, so like I'm a never again Trumper, so obviously the 33% Trump base doesn't like a person like me because I'm very clear. I don't think he's fit, and I don't think he can win. Liz is right, he could, and that's dangerous. I mean, you think he could even populate a cabinet? Could get through the Senate? I mean, it could be a total disaster. But I believe strongly, if we nominate a Republican, not named Donald Trump, we win this White House.
All they can say is not named Trump. Who do you want? Someone not named Trump. How about, no, someone not named Trump. Anyone not named Trump. How about saying Ron DeSantis, the guy you're supposed to get in there? This is very bizarre. I've never witnessed this.
Now, what was that where you played?
That's Paul Ryan.
That's Paul Ryan saying not named Trump?
Anybody not named Trump. Who do you want in there? Anybody not named Trump. You know, if we had someone in there not named Trump, what? This is something screwed up in the system.
Something's wrong with that guy.
Well, something's wrong with the whole system. And then the Department of Justice, I guess, releases some audio tape, which of course was given to them by the people who interviewed Trump for this article or book or whatever, and it becomes, Anderson Cooper. Oh, he's confessing himself out of his own mouth that he took documents about the Iran invasion. Blah 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 blah. So even Pixie Girl over on the CIA broadcasting systems has to bring the story, but in it she says it's not even a part of the case. So it's bullcrap. It's just filling airtime.
Today, the former president defiant on the campaign trail.
We did nothing wrong. This is a whole hoax.
After CBS News and other media outlets obtained an audio recording where the former president 2 years ago allegedly shared with a group at his New Jersey golf club a sensitive Defense Department plan of attack on Iran.
It is like highly confidential secret. This is secret information. Look at this.
The recent criminal indictment of the former president for the willful retention of national defense information includes a transcript of the conversation allegedly between Trump, a book writer, a publisher, and two staffers. The indictment says none has security clearances. Former senior Justice Department official Tom Dupree.
Is it reasonable to believe the special counsel has interviewed those individuals?
I think there's a very, very good chance that he has. They were witnesses to the alleged criminal activity. They can help fill in some of the gaps. What documents did the president show?
The audio recording appears to contradict Trump's explanation that there was no classified Iran document.
We had a lot of papers stacked up. In fact, you could hear the rustle of the paper, and nobody said I did anything wrong.
Trump has consistently said he declassified all the records he took from the White House. But in the recording,
As president, I could have declassified. No, I can't. But this is.
I think that the special counsel will be able to use this recording very effectively before a jury because he can argue that they've captured on tape the defendant narrating his own alleged criminal activity.
And CBS News has learned that Trump has not been charged for keeping the document he's talking about on that tape. Special counsel Jack Smith's office declined to answer our questions about the Iran memo or the audio tape. Trump has pleaded not guilty to all charges, Nora.
So they do a minute and a half about this tape and this document, and then, but he's not being charged with it. What?
They're going out of their way not to charge anything to do with that document because they don't want it put in as evidence.
Because it's real. It's real. It's got to be real.
Of course it's real. It was written by Miley.
Yes.
At the request of, I don't know who. And, or himself, he was kind of a freelancer still working there. I don't know why. And,
it's interesting.
If I remember during our show, it was discussed that this attack on Iran was discussed.
Yeah, but they had an actual document. Trump, and you listen to the tape, he's showing you then the document. There's no doubt about it. But it's not part. Oh, no. Yeah, no discovery, please. We can't actually have that come out. That would be rather embarrassing. Especially because it was Miley who was the military-industrial complex who was setting it up. West Clark 7, baby. Now, I have one more clip here. We have to, I'm not sure how to deconstruct this. This was Harry Smith. Was he NBC? I think he's
Harry Smith?
Is he CBS? CBS. Listen to this bit.
Harry Smith? I thought he was long retired.
Maybe he's...
Sure, it's Harry Smith?
Well, that's what the clip... Yeah, it's Harry Smith, the bald guy. Maybe this is a special report.
I can tell by his voice.
Yes, this is like a special report, and it's about the heritage of members of Congress, and it's very odd. I'm not sure how to read this.
Oh yeah, this came. This is peculiar. I know what you're going to play, and I didn't want to slip into the show because you're right. It's kind of baffling.
We're in Portsmouth, Virginia, with Black history scholar Cassandra Newby Alexander. Through public documents and family records, a Reuters examination discovered at least 100 members of the last sitting Congress had direct family ancestors who were slaveholders. More than a quarter of Republicans. 8% Democrats. So too, every living American president except Donald Trump.
When you learned that, did it surprise you?
Not at all. Power is something that's often inherited, and so is privilege. And those who owned enslaved people were privileged people.
Would we be better off as a people, as an American people, if we better recognized the truth of our past?
Absolutely. Unequivocally. We have to keep teaching it and putting it in front of the American people.
I mean, so every single one of the American presidents had had slave owners in their past, except Donald Trump.
How many living American presidents do we have?
Well, 3
for starters.
3. But you understand? That's why I didn't understand. Maybe. I didn't understand this. What's the point of this? What are they trying to say? Slave owners good?
Actually, Harry Smith's been moved over to NBC.
See, I was right. Yeah, I was right. I thought it was just a very odd thing to do.
I thought it was very odd. And what was the point of it?
Yeah, I don't understand. I do not understand.
To make Trump look like he's the only one that's not. So what? One way or the other. This is generational. After this, who cares?
Yeah. So the media doesn't know what to do. They all want the advertising dollars. They all have their marching orders. We know what Fox's marching orders are. I'm not even sure the MSNBCs and the CNNs of the world, I'm not even sure they know what to do. I mean, it's clear that Biden there's so much coming out. They can't stop the flood.
I have some clips of Biden, but I'm kind of have mixed feelings about your theory about Biden and mine.
What's my theory?
Your theory is they're out to get him. And
you started that. You said
I started it, but I backed off on it. And
you said that they're out to get Kamala in.
Yes, this is the latest, the way I see it.
Okay.
But your theory, because I was noticing on CBS in particular, they're really going. They're bringing up all the bad stuff about Biden.
Yeah.
CBS. Everyone else seems to be flailing around. It's hard to. I can't get a good handle on. Are they going to try to get Biden to resign?
Well,
they go on. Here's an example. I got some clip. Listen to this. There's Gary Shapley, that guy.
Yeah.
The IRS guy.
Yeah.
He was on CBS blasting away at the Biden...
The whistleblower stuff.
The whistleblower against Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
And then he went on Brett Baer's show with pretty much the same things he said on CBS. But those are the two outlets that gave him this freedom to complain. I have 3 clips from him.
Okay.
And his complaints are kind of like... Okay, this Gary Shapley intro. Play this.
Is there criminal implications in what you were investigating when it comes to Hunter Biden?
Oh, absolutely. And, the most substantive felony charges were left off the table.
Which would have been what?
Which would have been evasion for 14, false return for 18 in 2019. So as of right now, in the information that's been out there in the public, it uses the term in excess of $100,000 for 2017 and separately for 2018. The true number is $580,000 of failure to pay for 2017 and $620,000 for 2018. Yet this document puts it close to $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
Something I've been complaining about.
Big complaint about that, yes. You don't like those numbers.
And here's this one I misspelled Shipley. It's Gary Shipley on Blocks.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had number 2 set. Hold on a second. Blocks.
But as we moved closer to the election, it just seemed like they kept putting it on the back burner, and they eventually didn't allow us to do that search warrant, even though the legal requirements to execute that search warrant were met. Transitioning into another search warrant was on a storage unit in Northern Virginia. And during the day of action on December 8th of 2020, we got updated information that said that records were in that location that were, that would be evidence in this particular investigation. And the prosecutors initially were supportive of it, and an affidavit was drafted the night of December 8th, 2020 to go forward for approval.
Oh.
Eventually, the prosecutors decided they didn't support it, so I called U.S. Attorney David Weiss with my senior executive on the phone, and we said, we needed to execute this search warrant. He responded that the prosecutors didn't want to, and I asked if in 30 days, if that storage unit wasn't accessed, and that was the deadline for the document request that was served on that day, then we can execute the search warrant, and he agreed to that. And no sooner had gotten off the phone with David Weiss had we learned that the prosecutors were informing defense counsel of that storage unit and the evidence that existed there. So it completely ruined our chance to access those unfettered.
This guy's boring. He needs some excitement in what he's talking about. We don't feel the intrigue.
Let's get this straight.
I need some excitement from him.
He's an IRS lifer.
With the badge on his belt. I love that. IRS badge. I got a badge. Look at my keys. I got a big.
And you're expecting him to be like.
I'm just saying, he's a boring interview.
It's very bad. Yeah, I know, but it's no.
Yeah, no. So
it's a problem. But this is what you get for a real whistleblower.
Yeah.
And here he is. I could clip this guy forever, but all of it's like a little dull. But he has this material is like, wow, what do you after this clip?
Yes,
this is Gar Shapley 2. Try that.
All right, Gar.
This is a moment in which
you wonder why the search engine doesn't work well.
Delaware U.S. Attorney David Weiss.
Hold on a second.
Yes.
You've told me over the years that you fix these.
I don't fix them at all. I never said that. No.
Now, I would give you my process. I just grind these things out, and then I say to myself, I'm going back, and I'm going to spell check the list before I send it off to Adam. And then for some unknown reason, I think I've been hypnotized.
How's that working out? It's okay.
I don't do it.
Luckily, we have AI now, so we don't have to worry. AI will be able to find these things because it's like
Gar Shapley,
no problem.
This is a moment in which the Delaware U.S. Attorney David Weiss, according to you, had made this disclosure on October 7th, 2022, meeting with top IRS and FBI officials, saying what?
So I was there and I witnessed this personally, and he started with, he's not the deciding person on whether or not charges are filed or not.
Not the deciding person on whether charges are filed with Hunter Biden?
That's correct.
Who was?
So ultimately, this, if you follow the path of where the venue leads you, they went to the D.C. U.S. Attorney's Office in March of 2022, and they presented this case to them. At the same time as that was occurring, they requested discovery from the agents, which is a typical step when they're getting ready to charge. Now, I wasn't in those meetings. I asked to be in those meetings, as did the case agent, so we didn't help present to them. But after that occurred, he was no longer looking to charge in that district.
So that's earth-shattering news. It's a Biden-appointed D.C. U.S. Attorney Matthew Graves would not allow him to charge in his district.
So I didn't learn that fact until October 7th of 2022, so looking back to March of 2022. And that's when David Weiss in October 7th, 2022 said that the D.C. U.S. Attorney's Office will not allow us to charge there. And then he added that he would request he requested special counsel authority and was denied. In that meeting, I even had him repeat that because I knew how important that fact was and I wanted to make sure I understood it.
You were there and you remember it crystal clear in your mind.
Not only do I remember it crystal clear, but I documented it. The email, this is an exhibit in the House Ways and Means Committee testimony, was when I returned home that evening, I documented it in an email, and it's an exhibit. You can look right on there. And I sent that email to 2 senior executives, one of which was at that meeting, and I said, is this accurate reflection of what occurred during the meeting? And the response was, you covered it all.
All right, what did that mean? Because I was snoring.
What it means is that there was something out of the blue. Everything was ready to go.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, someone pulled the cord.
Let's say a spook walked in and said, hey, this guy's working for us. This has been my thesis all along. And you can't do this, so stop.
I think...
And they put a stop to it. Now, to add to a little more dimensionality to this, your thesis that they're going to have to get rid of
Hunter first. They got to kill Hunter
somehow.
Overdose, easy.
Well, suicide.
Suicide overdose.
Or overdose, either one.
He could get ingested into a jet engine. That seems to be the new suicide way these days. Well, hold on. Let's just
too much work.
Of a private
First,
jet.
you got to find a jet engine. You got to get on the tarmac.
Private jet. He was going on the private jet. His buddy's private jet sucked into the engine. It could happen. I think they're setting up President Biden for the death. And it's this story in particular that made me think that.
The White House says President Biden has recently started using a CPAP machine, which helps people with sleep apnea. The condition affects 30 million Americans, according to the American Medical Association. NPR's Deepa Shivaram has more.
Thank you,
The White House disclosed that Biden was using a CPAP machine after reporters noticed he appeared to have marks on his face from straps used to hold an air pressure mask in place. CPAP stands for Continuous Positive Airway Pressure. Biden's past medical reports as recently as 2019 mentioned sleep apnea, but his medical reports while president have not. Biden's health is being closely scrutinized by voters as well as by his political opponents because at 80, he is the oldest president in U.S. history. Polls show some voters are concerned that he is too old to effectively carry out a second term in office. Deepa Shivaram, NPR News.
Now, a couple things about this.
Well, the first thing about this is it wasn't a CPAP machine. It was a ball gag.
Yeah, that was my punchline, and you just didn't really deliver it right.
And by the way, that gag came from, and I'm going to call you out on this. I know where you got that joke.
No, I had the joke in my mind already. I had it from the minute I got the clip.
The joke came from a meme on No Agenda Social.
Oh, really? I did not see that. Here's what I wanted to say about it. I have friends who have CPAP machines. I've never seen them with a strap mark indent on their face in the morning. They've stayed at my house just as recently as last week. No. That's bullcrap. Something else going on. It must have been emergency oxygen or something. He's going to die. It's the only solution. The only way to get rid of it is to get rid of all the evidence, and the evidence is Hunter and Joe.
How about this?
I mean, I hate to be ghoulish about it, but
they've been very good.
Like
I'm sticking with the Democrats on this.
Mm-hmm.
Biden has been doing this for 50 years. He knows how to do this. And he's still, I'm sticking with the Gigante. idea where he's just pretending to be a dummy. I have clips here where he shows it off. It's going to happen to Hunter just before the election. It's going to make everybody so sad.
Oh, yes. He loves his son.
October surprise.
The love of
my son.
Yes. The October
the Republicans have driven him to suicide.
By ingestion into a jet engine.
Without the jet engine.
Come on. That's the best kind.
It's not going to happen that way. There's no way.
It's cool.
So, yeah, it might be. But chopped up into pieces.
It's better than the wood chipper. It's the new mafia. That's how the mob does it these days. It's different. It's different these days.
And it will get him the sympathy he needs to go over the top and win the election and take a bunch of Democrats with him. The Republicans...
Well, where's Kamala then? Where's Kamala in your story?
The Republicans thwarted again.
I'm just going to say it right now, just as I did with Trump.
I'll tell you where Kamala is. 2 months into it, after he gets elected, he quits, resigns, and gives it to Kamala because he's too old. Boom, she gets in. She'll be in there for 3 years and get reelected.
All right.
Wow.
All right. I'm just going to say right now, I think Bobby Kennedy Jr. has a real shot. And the reason I say that is not because of, in fact, not because of the News Nation town halls or anything like that. He is going where the people are. The people are tuning out. They don't care about the mainstream. There is, anything can still be rigged with the elections. I'm not sure how he gets past the Democratic Party apparatus. Rigging apparatus to become the candidate. I think he has, as the podcast presidential candidate, I think he has a real shot. I really do. I think he has a real shot. I know you think I'm dreaming.
You are.
But I think he has a real shot. Well, you said the same about Trump when I said Trump could do it. And he did.
That was some time ago before the rigging got
what do you mean? The rigging just started? Please. Please. These elections have been rigged for a long time. Long time.
Let's listen to some Biden stuff.
All right.
Start with this one. This one's, again, a misspelling. It says Biden.
Oh, okay.
But this is a good jumble of just miscellaneous nonsense.
Well, guess what?
Guess what?
A guy driving a truck hit he knocked down a whole bridge and the whole blocked 4 lanes of the highway. Today, with the help of the Inflation Reduction Act, a new plant's being built. 3/4 of U.S. industries grew more consecrated. I'm thinking I didn't go to Mass.
That's a good one. That's a good little jumble he's got going on there. Wow. Your president.
Here's the Biden clip. Need the money, botch.
But if you're a family that's a two-wage earner, each of the parents, one making $30,000, one making 40 or 50, maybe that's a little more than. Well, yeah, they need the money.
Okay.
Where do you get these from? Who's watching these?
They're all over the place.
This is horrible.
Try Biden on this one here. He's kind of telling it like it is. This is his Biden on coal.
You're not going to see anybody building a new coal-fired plant in America. Not just because I'd like to pass a law to say that. It's too expensive. It doesn't work anymore.
It doesn't work.
That's just a blatant
That's
lie.
a lie. That's just a lie. When it doesn't work is your windmills. They don't work. That's too expensive.
And then there's this one. This one got a lot of play. And this is the least of the. This is the least interesting. This is where he just talking to some reporters as he leaves.
Yeah.
And he says Iraq.
I mean, I didn't even clip this. It was so uninteresting. It's all right. It's all right.
To what extent has Vladimir Putin been weakened by recent events? It's hard to tell, but he's clearly losing the war in Iraq. He's losing the war at home, and he has become a bit of a fly around the world. It's not just NATO. It's not just the European Union. It's Japan. It's 40 nations.
Yeah, see, this is why I didn't clip it, because of the crappy helicopter noise. It's inaudible. It doesn't work. The point, you get a point off for that. -1. I wanted to ask you about the Hatch Act again, because something happened during the summer of Pride that. And it started off with, a little hippy-dippy cool little clip on Twitter. Look at this, crazy, it's the summer of Pride. No one watches the whole thing. It's Admiral...
What's the whole thing? What do you mean?
This is Admiral Levine. Admiral Levine did a Summer of Pride.
Rachel?
Yes, Admiral Rachel Levine did a summer... The dude did a Summer of Pride.
Please.
No, it's Admiral Levine annoys me.
Oh, yeah, psycho.
Now,
Go.
would Admiral Levine be allowed to have any political speech as a representative of government?
Yeah.
Could Admiral Levine do that, or would that be a violation of the Hatch Act?
It's not a violation of the Hatch Act. She's not doing it on company time.
Well, what if she is doing it on company time? What if it's in this official video of the Summer of Pride in his position as Admiral Levine?
Was it partisan?
Yes, completely partisan.
Well, okay, so you're telling me that while on the job...
In uniform...
In
while
uniform. On the job, in uniform.
Because the legs look super hot, Admiral. You got hairy legs.
Well, play the clip.
Okay, it's okay. So I'm going to play the opening. This is Admiral Levine, who brings in a child. The child is let me see, what's the child's name? Ryan Casada, who has been trained, admits to being trained as a political operative to push the trans agenda. And there are some amazing things that the Admiral says in this clip, which I believe completely violate not just the Hatch Act, but the whole spirit of working for the American people.
Hello, my name is Admiral Rachel Levine, and I have the honor of being the Assistant Secretary for Health at the United States Department of Health and Human Services. Happy Pride. Woo! Happy Pride Month, and actually, let's declare it a Summer of Pride. Happy Summer of Pride. It's so important to have Pride as a celebration for our LGBTQI plus community and to recognize how far we have come, but also how much work we have left to do. So I am so excited to be here with Ryan Casada to talk about Pride, about our community. And so first, why don't you tell us a little bit about your story, Ryan, and all the fantastic work that you're doing.
Okay, so Ryan Casada was a girl, has had at least top surgery quite a while ago, maybe 4 years ago, because Ryan Casada has a forced musical career, singing Pride songs, kind of like Blink 182 type stuff, and it's with bare chest. The bass player is a dude who's now a girl. I mean, the whole thing is just what? It's a mind bender. And now Ryan Casada is sitting there in a suit and tie with big glasses on, big, studious glasses, and is following a script, which I think they may even be reading off the prompter.
Great. Thank you, Admiral Levine. My name is Ryan Casada. I use he, him pronouns, and I like to share my pronouns first before I start any conversation. And I am a singer-songwriter and a transgender activist. I play a lot of protest songs to help the transgender liberation movement.
This is new. The transgender liberation movement. That sounds kind of anarchistic.
I like it.
Transgender liberation movement.
And I started my activism when I was 13 years old after getting bullied pretty severely in middle school when I first came out. And from there on, I joined the Safe Schools team through the LGBT network on Long Island, where I grew up. And that is where I learned to publicly speak and also learned the education that I needed to be able to go into schools and conferences to carry the message.
So that's where this child was programmed and mind controlled, learned the knowledge on how to be an activist. Yes, you want to say
there
something?
are these schools and seminars. It's interesting that you mentioned this earlier about the BLM becoming the trans movement, but transgender liberation movement, which is TLM.
Yes, very good. TLM. Yep.
from BLM. This is all you have to do is change one letter. Boom, you can use the old stuff.
Same flags. You can use
same flags,
same bumper stickers,
same bumper stickers.
Well, thank you so much for being such a role model and a voice for the trans community.
And this is something, just as a side note, for some reason, Admiral Levine keeps saying community, has to pronounce the T, community.
Well, thank you so much for being such a role model and a voice for the trans community. We were talking before about your songs and how they give a message of hope and compassion, but also protest. How do you mix all that together?
So I left this in just because it's too funny. But again, this is now, so they're leading up to political talking points right here by abusing this child who has clearly been abused by the political system for many years.
I think it naturally mixes together. As a trans person, as a trans man, I know that my body is politicized, my identity is politicized right now, especially with all of the anti-trans legislation and bills that are happening.
I'd say this is political activism here, wouldn't you say?
No.
No?
Not in so far as the Hatch Act's concerned.
Hold on to your hat. Your hatch.
Right now in our community and our country, and it just naturally flows because the thing that I am most passionate about is helping the transgender community to freedom, really. And that comes through often in my music.
Well, that's fantastic. You know, we just had Pride at the White House and D.C. Pride this weekend here. And the president and the first lady spoke so eloquently about their support for the broader LGBTQI plus community, but particularly for the transgender community, trans youth, their families, their providers. And so, you know, you talked about the challenges that we have in many states across the country for political purposes. What are your thoughts about that?
So we're still not at the Hatch Act? It's all about political purposes? It's all about the anti-trans legislation? We're still not at the Hatch Act? Not yet? Not yet?
No?
No? Okay.
I think right now it is more difficult than ever to be trans because of this legislation. And I know I hear it from trans youth every single day, multiple people, that they are struggling because of the legislation, because of the media, the news. And we need to do everything we can right now so that trans youth can access the care that they need and they deserve. I know that this is life-saving care that is on the line.
Absolutely. So, you know, let's talk for a moment about the trans health care that our community needs and transgender medicine and gender-affirming care. I mean, that term is important, although our opponents have weaponized it. What do you...
Our opponents have weaponized it? Is that not political speech?
No.
Wow.
No, you have to say the Republicans have weaponized it. The red states have weaponized it. The lousy Republicans, the mega MAGAs, which is, by the way, why John Pierre got in trouble, because she said mega MAGA Republicans. So if you say, where's the mention of republicanism
if you say
here?
Our opponents, that's not good enough?
So what? That means just somebody doesn't like them. It could be a Democrat, could be a Republican, could be an independent.
Well, I'm sorry. I thought the whole thing was disgusting. I really could not.
I didn't say it wasn't disgusting. It's just not a violation of the Hatch Act, from what I can tell.
I thought it came close. I think it's so obvious.
I don't even think it's close.
Okay, all right. I was wrong. I'm.
Do you have to say
aghast.
It has to be very partisan? Do they say vote Democrat and this won't happen? None of that goes on in this discussion.
I thought the opponent's part was enough, but you know,
opponent could be a Democrat. Democrats aren't all in on this stuff.
I take your legal advice on this.
I'm not I'm not an attorney. I only play one on this podcast.
And that's why I take it. I take it now. I think ultimately the goal of all of this stuff is just to get hate speech laws on the books. They just really want to shut us up. Everybody, just shut up.
Well, there's no doubt about that.
But it's like they don't really care about trans. It's just, as long as we can get hate speech laws on the books. That's what it seems to be.
That's probably a lot. I think you could say that. They don't care about trans. It's bullcrap.
We actually got a very...
they care about free speech.
Yeah. We got a very thoughtful dissection of the Arkansas law that the judge overturned, and really the interesting part, this is the law that they put into play, that they enacted, that minors cannot have medical transitions or medical, what do they call it? Gender affirming care.
You can't have your nuts chopped off if you're a minor and you just happen to be on a whim.
And what he says is the interesting argument is about the parents' rights, because
this we talked about this switcheroo on this parents' rights thing. I think is genius.
Yeah, and he has a whole breakdown, which I don't know if it makes sense for us to discuss it, but what they're calling standard parental rights is what they're throwing up is not the standard for determining parental rights, but there's a lot of validity to them saying, well, you can have cisgendered medical care if you want a boob job or a butt lift or whatever. So you should be able to have anything. And I think that these states will lose out on this. And unfortunately, I think parental rights will get lost too. They want your kids.
There's smart people on both sides of this, and they should be able to fight this
They want your kids. They want your kids.
Well, it's
and it's structural. The Anheuser-Busch CEO, the Spook guy.
Yeah,
I think he was put in to make this happen. I mean, he was put into PepsiCo to ruin PepsiCo. I think he was put into Anheuser-Busch to ruin Anheuser-Busch. And of course, Anheuser-Busch they're giving away their beer for July 4th. Here, free beer. Just drink it, please. They're giving it away. You can have free beer from Anheuser-Busch. So CBS, Spook Network, brings him on. This guy, and he needs a little brush up on the training, on media training, on how to answer things, because and have you seen his head?
It's huge, isn't it?
Well, no, it's Spook head.
Oh, it's a spook head.
Total spook head, spook smile, spook haircut.
Oh, yeah, no, he's very spooky.
Spook.
We should point out that you're a former United States Marine, and you were also at the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA. Correct. So you know a little bit about stress, just a tiny bit. How did you go from the CIA to Anheuser-Busch?
I thought the highest calling.
There you go.
He doesn't answer the question very well.
How do you go from CIA to CEO of Anheuser-Busch? How do you do that? What's the steps? What's the in-between steps?
Exactly. How does that happen? Well, his answer is not satisfying.
Anheuser-Busch. I thought the highest calling that anybody can have is serving the country. But for personal reasons, made the decision after 8 years in service of the country.
Whoa. For personal reasons, after 8 years, which is not a very long spook career. For personal reasons, i.e., they told me you're going to now be a spook in the field over here. This is bull crap.
But for personal reasons, made the decision after 8 years in service of the country to move into business.
For service of the country to move into business. So the way I read that.
Oh, yeah, you read it right.
To be a spook in business. That's what I hear.
But for personal reasons, made the decision after 8 years in service of the country to move into business. I worked for PepsiCo for a number of years, and I came here 10 years ago, and I've been in this position for 2 years.
You still like this job?
I love this job, and I love the company. And it really is, as I mentioned, an American...
Wait, stop. What was the question he got asked?
Do you like the job? Why?
Okay. Back it up if you can.
You still like this?
Something else.
Yeah, do you still like this job, is what she says.
Been in this position for 2 years.
You still like this job?
I love this job, and I love the company.
Yeah, I think this is Gail. She's at the CIA Broadcasting Systems. So basically saying, do you like this assignment? Do you still like the assignment?
Do you like this assignment? That would have been better.
Years ago, and I've been in this position for 2 years.
You still like this job?
I love this job, and I love the company. And it really is, as I mentioned, an American institution. And it's really, to me, one degree of separation.
Belgium's.
And it's really, to me, one degree of separation away from the United
CIA.
States.
Now shut up, because what he says is funnier than your remarks.
And it's really, to me, one degree of separation away from the United States, the American flag. And so even though I'm not...
Yeah. He said working at Anheuser-Busch is just one step away from the American flag.
It's a Belgian company.
American institution. And it's really, to me, 1 degree of separation away from the United States, the American flag. And so even though I'm not serving the country anymore, I still feel like I have an opportunity to support the country. And that's exactly what Anheuser-Busch gives us the opportunity to do.
It's just replace country for company, i.e. the pickle factory. This guy, he's a heat-seeking missile. No way I'd hire this guy for my beer company. This is weird.
You're feeling you'll get through this.
Well,
absolutely.
Yeah, you'll get through this, sure.
Let's ask ourselves, why did they hire him?
Well, first he went to PepsiCo.
Were they told to hire him, or is it they have a gun to their head?
Did he come in before the sale or after the sale?
Came in after the sale.
Okay. To keep an eye on those Belgians, probably.
But why would the Belgians hire him?
Well,
they know he's a spook.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it just felt right.
I think something else is. I think there's a piece of information that we're missing.
Do you have any TikTok
and it
clips?
Continues. They're still playing this game with Bud Light and the whole thing. Even though the sales have gone down, they lost billions of dollars in sales and market cap.
Yeah.
So there's something they're putting up with. Revenue. Something's got to happen that's going to make up for these losses.
The MTA, the Manhattan Transit Authority, has signs up in the subways, and this is kind of where I'm getting this thought from. That's all about hate speech laws, which is ridiculous. Service information. It's a poster on the wall, and it has the pride rainbow colors. No bigotry, hatred, or prejudice allowed at this station at any time. Reminder: respect trans people, or your pronouns will be was, were.
I saw this. I'm questioning whether this image is a hoax.
It looks pretty real to me.
It looks real, but do we have anybody in the field that can take a picture of the real sign?
We'll get one. But regardless, it's a meme, man. It's the memes.
It's a meme.
It's the meme.
I'm thinking it's a created meme.
It's the memes. We got to be careful. These memes, they're getting into my brain. It's incredible. What's happening is just incredible.
I question that sign.
It looks really pretty real to me.
For one thing, I question that sign existing for more than 10 minutes with some graffiti not being splashed on it.
Well, it goes along with 250 celebrities, and allies who call on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter to stop the flow of anti-trans hate and malicious disinformation about trans and healthcare. Open letter sent to Mark Zuckerberg, Meta Platforms, Neil Mohan, YouTube, Zhu Zichu, TikTok, and Linda Yaccarino and Elon Musk at Twitter. And you're in for a good ride when it starts off as celebrities, influencers, and prominent public figures with significant followings on social media, we, the undersigned, are calling on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter to fulfill the promises you've made to transgender, non-binary, gender non-conforming, and all LGBTQ users in your terms of service. There has been a massive systemic failure to prohibit hate, harassment, and malicious anti-LGBTQ disinformation on your platforms, and it must be addressed. Dangerous posts, both content and ads, created and circulated by high-follower anti-LGBTQ hate accounts targeting transgender, non-binary, and gender non-conforming people are thriving across your platforms, directly resulting in terrifying real-life harm, including bomb threats, targeting children's hospitals that offer health care for trans youth, and death threats targeting care providers. Such false and hate-driven, widely circulated content on your platform is even being cited by lawmakers advancing discriminatory legislation against trans people. This is crazy. It's off the rails, and I don't know what's going to happen. Dead naming. This is dangerous. It is dead naming is violence.
Yeah, dead naming. I always forget about that.
It's all, and every paragraph is hate speech. They want hate speech laws. They want to silence speech. And this has already happened in the UK. It's happening everywhere now, and outside of the US. Michigan.
Michigan's out of control.
Proposed legislation, HB 4474, would amend the state's Ethnic Intimidation Act of 1988, which I didn't even know existed, in order to consider it a hate crime, whatever that is, if a person is accused of causing severe mental anguish to another individual by means of perceived verbal intimidation or harassment. The amendment defines the words intimidate or harass as a, quote, willful course of conduct involving repeated or continuing harassment of another individual that would cause a reasonable individual to feel terrorized, frightened, intimidated, threatened, harassed, or molested. John, we saw this happen right before our very eyes. It started with bullying in schools. We were talking about this in 2009. And then we got the hate speech rules in school, and then it became legislation. This seems to be...
Yeah, it could be an attack on free speech.
Could be.
We've been watching this go. They've been unsuccessful, I should mention.
Yeah, but wow.
And a lot of them bring, the problem is they have, I don't know, there's some issues, which brings me to a couple of talk clips.
TikTok, you don't stop. To the TikTok, you don't stop.
Talk, TikTok.
Hey, we've upgraded the jingle.
So one thing I've noticed, I have two clips. And one thing I've noticed is this first clip is not that, it's another one you're going to complain about the quality, but this is a person who just talks about neo-pronouns. That's all she does.
Neo, as in expanded more, new?
Yeah, the additional. And in fact, you've seen a bunch of Charlie Kirk and some of these other guys are always getting into trouble because they're kind of outspoken about all this. And they have people, calling them transphobes, and you see the same thing. I could have gotten clips of these where the guy says, well, what is, Kennedy pulled this off in the Senate again, where he goes, well, how many sexes are there? How many genders are there? No, and as we speak, there's no number of genders anymore. There used to be 75 and there was 35. Now it's infinite. So as the genders have gone to infinity, the pronouns have gone off the rails.
And who are we going to be listening to here?
Talk litany of neo-pronouns.
Lily, tulip pronouns, hot poppy pronouns, sun, sunshine, perform. Today I'm going to show you how to use springs pronouns and buttercup's pronouns, butterfly's pronouns.
Dude, hold on. Is this like jump cutting or something? What is this?
Yeah, but these are all pieces of her showing how to use butterfly, buttercup pronouns, teddy bear. She just names all these nouveau pronouns that are just like, what? So we're supposed to call people by their pronouns or use their pronouns, and there's an infinite number. There's no way we can know what they are.
There's a thing on Adobe. Adobe actually has a. Let me see if I can find it here. Has a filter, an AI filter, mind you, where you can take crap like this that is absolutely unairable. And you can just drag and drop it in there, and it will make it audible again. It's really worth looking into because.
Ooh, what's it called?
It's called enhanced speech. Here, remove noise from voice recordings with speech enhancement.
Oh, I could have used this for the Biden clip.
You could have used. Yes.
This clip here is meaningless. So let's go.
Well, hold on, because I dragged it in there.
Oh, you're going to run it?
Here it is. I'm going to run it right now. Okay, hold on. Let me just download it here. Hold on. Let's see how it works out now.
Lily, tulip pronouns, hot poppy pronouns, sun, sunshine, perform. Today I'm going to show you how to use springs pronouns and buttercup's butterfly's pronouns, ha's pronouns, lee, quality pit's pronouns, lee, ha's pronouns, bloom's pronouns, normal, forever's pronouns, dear's pronouns, and tart's pronouns, and use warmth, rose's pronouns, dub's pronouns, and sweet's pronouns, and teddy.
Okay, that
Teddy
was
and teddy bear pronouns.
Yeah, the clip was not great.
I think that they did a admirable job. But now I want you to, since we're doing this in real time, this is the way our show is.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to run that Biden clip into that thing.
Okay, hold on. That's the
Biden
Iraq?
says Iraq instead of Ukraine.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me upload. Here we go. Drag and drop. Oh, it doesn't like this for some reason. Oh, what is this? Oh, okay. Hold on a second.
This is a crappy clip.
It got mad at me, and I was
mad at you.
Yeah, because I'd already uploaded something. I don't know. He's probably gonna. He's like, "You're using our AI too much, Curry. Go away." Okay, Iraq. Here we go. Let's drag it in. Here we go. Enhancing speech. So I actually considered. For some reason, it's not doing it. It won't do Joe Biden because it's against terms of service to make him legible. Says it right here.
There's no such thing.
Says it right here. It says enhancing speech.
Just change the name of the clip.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. So yeah, and it's free. You can get this from Adobe. And I've used this on really bad interviews, and I considered using it for this Biden thing, but I was like, the whole world has already seen this thing. Let's do the second TikTok clip while I'm waiting for that to enhance.
Okay, now this clip is actually a general practitioner. This is a doctor. This could be your doctor. And this is a doctor who is, I can't even remember if it's a woman, it's a trans doctor, or no, I'm sorry, what am I thinking? It's a non-binary doctor who's just sick of people not using the right pronouns.
Yes, because it's hate speech.
I'm sorry to hear that, but as people have been pointing out, I am not a she. I noticed that you deleted your comment where you said that I most definitely am a woman, but I'm not. My sex is female. That was determined at my birth when my doctor took one look at my external genitalia and declared me to be female. But I am non-binary, which means I am not a woman and I am not a man. I am transgender because my gender does not match my sex, which was determined at birth. I choose to express myself as masculine, so I am trans-masculine or trans-mask. My pronouns are they, them, and my name is Asha. It was formerly Natasha. Please do not refer to me as a woman anymore. Thank you.
Okay.
This is a new term. There's a reason I wanted this clip.
Transmask. With a C at the end? Transmask?
Transmask. TRANSMASC.
Mm-hmm. What?
Who can keep up?
No, but the point is, please do not call me this. And if you do, then you'll get reported, and then you get written up, and it's ultimately if you think it's about protecting kids, it's not. It's just about shutting people up. It's so obvious. Here's the Biden clip now that it's been enhanced.
The other he said has Vladimir Putin's been weakened by a recent event. It's hard to tell, but as he clearly losing the war in Iraq, he's losing the war at home. And he is coming through with riot around the world. It's not just NATO, not just the European Union.
It's interesting. So it actually changes his voice for some reason.
It changes his voice a little bit, and it makes him even more muddy. I mean, the clarity of the clip is there, but his kind of slurring around and barely saying the words not very accurately is kind of brought out. It's brought out.
I don't think it's good. Anyway, at this point,
it is good.
I'll send you the link. It's worth it. For a lot of things, it's worth it.
Please send me the link.
Well, and with that, I'd like to thank you for your courtesy in the morning to you, the man who put the C just now in Transmask. Ladies and gentlemen, say hello to my friend on the other end, the one and only Mr. John C. DeVore.
Well, in the morning, you Mr. Adam Crossing. In the morning, ships, sea boots on the ground, feet in the air, subs in the water, and all the dames and knights out there.
And in the morning, to the trolls there in the troll room. Very trolly today. Hands up, you ugly trolls. Let's count you. 1, 2, 3. Now, what is a good number for Thursday? I'm almost
Thursday, a good number is 1800.
1904.
Nice.
Hello, trolls. Good to have you here. Whatever happened on the last show, people liked it. People got value.
What?
They liked what we did on the last show. People got value from it.
Oh.
They found it valuable. And the way they express that is by sending us very long donation notes.
The donation notes are out of control.
You don't want to miss the donation segment because there's some funny stuff in here, and there's always new information that comes to light when people send to the, what are we drinking today?
A Bud Light.
No, you're lying. You lie.
It turned out I found another can of the Polar plain unflavored seltzer.
That's interesting. I just got here's the donation segment clip. If you left, then you're missing this. Are you ready? Here you go.
Well, listen up. Dentists are now warning about the dangers of seltzer now that the drink is becoming more popular than ever. Many use the carbonated water as a low-sugar replacement for soda, but dentists are warning that seltzer has acids that can harm or even wipe out tooth enamel. So they recommend rinsing your mouth with regular water between seltzers to wash out that acid, or just drink with a straw.
Drink it with a straw. Drink it with a straw.
Hold on a second. What acid?
Well, I actually asked Maverick. He didn't get back to me. I tried to get him. He's probably in surgery because I want to know what this is about. This seems to me like a beverage war of some sort. I doubt that this is...
Seltzer is sparkling water. There's no difference.
Well, you heard it right here. You heard it.
I mean, if they're adding something like, if you want to talk about something that could go out after your tooth enamel, you have to look at the flavored beverages like Coca-Cola and Pepsi-Cola, which have phosphoric acid. You can see it on the label. Phosphoric acid in the product, which is kind of caustic. But seltzer is seltzer.
And check this out. Just hot off the press from Reuters today, exclusive. WHO's Cancer Research Agency say aspartame sweetener a possible carcinogen. No, you don't say. How long? We've been talking about aspartame as long as we've been talking about thimerosal. Anything. Yeah. Unbelievable. Anyway, enjoy your seltzer there.
I will.
I can tell you exactly what it feels like when you have to have oral work done.
Well.
Thank you, trolls, for hanging up. They're very trolly today. You know, there's always gummy nerds and Admelkert and these people are like, I don't like this. This is boring. The show's no good. You know, it's like, where's your podcast?
Show's no good. Get your own show, asshole.
Dickweed, where's your show? Blue Douche 33, please. Now you can join the trolls and fight them. That's what people do. They fight back and forth. It is kind of funny, and it's almost an unmoderated chat room. You really got to be doing something weird before you get kicked out of there. I didn't even boot anybody.
It has to be kind of aimed at Adam.
No, when it's aimed at me, everyone loves it. No, you have to like do a flood of paste flood or something. No, if they're just trolling me, they love it. They think it's funny. No, look at him getting all mad. Now, the way to do this, if you're going to be a troll, get a new podcast app at podcastapps.com. You can use Fountain. I like Podverse because it gives you an alert, but also Podcast Guru, Podcast Addict, CurioCaster. You can listen live. You get the troll room right there in your app. You can do all kinds of fun things. It's modern, and you can import all your legacy podcasts into it. Everything works. Drop Apple. Please drop, if you're using Google, if you're listening on a web page, get one of these apps. It's the future. I'm 10 years early, but I'm always right. You can also follow us on the meme station known as noagendasocial.com, where the people are fighting over there too. There's something going on in the air. The trolls are fighting amongst themselves. They're calling each other names. They're posting bad memes, thousands of them. Something is happening. I can smell, I feel there's something going on in the air. I'm not
about
sure.
What?
I don't know. They're upset and nervous about something. It's nervous energy they have, and then they start doing all these things, and they stop thinking straight. Yeah. Follow Adam at noagendasocial.com, John C. Dvorak at noagendasocial.com. And as part of our value for value model, which is very simple, you can, if you're listening to the show, we presume that you keep listening because you get some value out of it. If you don't give any value back, you have to question your life choices if you're not sending something back to us. Now, it can be all kinds of things except memes and trolling comments. If you're doing something productive for the community, then we appreciate it. Like our artists. Another thing you can see in the new podcast app is the art that is used, a new one every single show, which is submitted by some fantastic artists who just provide this out of the goodness of their valuable hearts, returning it for the value the show provides. And we really appreciate it. And in particular, we want to thank the artist number one on the generator, Sir Paul Couture, moving up his very own rankings for the artwork for episode 1567, appropriately titled Wagner the Dog. And how could we not choose a hot dog carrying a flag that says false on it, Russian made, 180 degrees? Yellow seems to be the color of art these days. For some reason, I'm noticing that a lot of yellow is being used. Have you noticed this?
Always a winner.
Is yellow always a winner? Is that a fact?
Yeah. There was a study done on packaging, software packaging, and they determined that the thing that jumps off the shelf this is the days when they had computer stores. What jumps off the shelf is black lettering on a yellow background packaging.
So, what would an example of that be in the software world?
Lotus was, I think, one of those.
Oh, right, Lotus 123 probably.
And the only reason they used those colors because of the market research they did.
Well, Sir Paul Couture nailed it because he had black letters on a yellow background. And it was also, there were other people who did hot dog art, which we liked, but it didn't, as you said, this one had motion. The hot dog is marching, and the false flag, the literal false flag was just too funny. So, but again, value returned by the artist for the value we provide, and we actually turn around and give them some value by telling them why we didn't choose their art, which is something that you will not get in the professional art world ever. You just won't get chosen. They just
won't choose your art, but they'll never tell you why.
They'll never tell you why.
Sucks.
Besides, it just sucks, man. So we had, let me see what we had. I kind of liked Francisco Scaramanga's U-turn, Wagner U-turn sign with a...
Yeah, I like that too. I also like the hot dog done by Sir Ned.
Let me see which one
that was cute.
And he had the Ukraine flag, which was very, very close to... Man, they're so similar, those hot dogs. Do you think that was some kind of clip art they've both licensed and mangled to their own?
I have no idea.
I also very much like Tontanil's Ding Dongs, now with Ling Ling.
Yeah, I liked it as a piece, as a standalone piece, but it was a little, Ding Dong is not so much, it's just a throwaway. It's just it wasn't as connected to the show as I'd like, even though I'm the one who said Ling Ling and Ding Dong,
which was hilarious.
Yeah, well, I thought that was their names, but
Capitalist Agenda also had the Communist Wieners, which is the hammer and sickle. With a hot dog.
That was kind of cute.
It was cute. Yeah, well, it was more than kind of cute. Dame Kenny Ben had a Wagner the dog.
There was a lot. Okay, let's start up and say there was a lot of nice pieces, any one of which could have been used. It just so happens that Couture's piece was best of the group.
Dynamite. Now, you use the Nestwork Sleep Well at Night, the moon with the...
Yeah, I just thought that was a pleasant piece of art.
Yeah, and I want to give an honorable mention. You hated it. It disgusted you. I really liked Dirty Jersey Whore's woke kid, leaning against the television screen that had the rainbow on it. I really thought that was cute.
I wasn't disgusted by it. For one thing, that looks like a test pattern of any sort that I've seen a million times. I thought the art was somewhat simplistic. I liked the dyed hair. That's kind of cute.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it was artsy enough.
Well, it deserved to lose against Sir Paul Couture, but still, it wasn't bad at all. It wasn't bad.
Yeah, I didn't like it at all.
Okay. Thank you very much to all the artists who participate in this. We really appreciate it. It really, when we're done with the show, and let's face it, after 3.5 hours of show, we're done with each other. We still have something fun to do. We can pick art, and it really, it's like I'll go into the bathroom. I really got to pee. John's already done that, of course, during the Meetup segment. He has the bathroom nearby. I got to walk a little bit further, and then we're all reset. We're like, hey, let's argue about some art, and it's good. We appreciate it. It's very valuable to us and valuable to the show. It looks great in the podcast apps, and we believe it contributes to people listening. Now, of course,
as art does.
It's very important that you deliver your time, talent, and treasure. And you don't have to do it every single show. Some people do it once a year. Some do it on a weekly basis. Some do it in little bits and pieces. It's all okay. In return, when you come in as an executive or associate executive producer, we give you that credit as a full lifetime approved credit. Show Business approves of it. That's why you can find almost 800 of them on IMDb, but you can also use it in LinkedIn. Now, you might get a lot of people hitting you up for jobs, if you have a job for them, and you may want to do it the other way around. In that case, we're happy to vouch for you if anyone questions your credit as an executive or associate executive producer of the No Agenda Show. And for episode 1568, we kick it off with Stephen George from Finland, Minnesota. John, you have a note.
Yes, I do. Stephen writes, been listening to every episode. Get your pen up because he's got some requests for the...
jingles?
No. Oh, yeah, that too. Sorry. I'm thinking of the round table. Been listening to every episode and getting plenty of value over the next 2 years. So it was my first donation. This is 1,033.33. So this is a big donation.
Wow, nice.
I've been putting off donating until I can come up with a witty dad joke that would make my 4 human resources chuckle.
Okay.
But as they all know, their dad is no comedian. Oh, well. I'd like to be dubbed Sir Cucaracha of the Northwoods at the round table. So in other words, we got no dad joke out of him.
No, zero dad joke.
I'll have a Rocknar, Minnesota Rye whiskey.
Okay.
Roknar, Minnesota Rye whiskey. Never heard of it, but it's probably good.
Probably.
And Costco pepperoni pizza.
That pizza's pretty good.
Yeah, I would take a Tums with that.
Although I prefer the hot dog at Costco.
The hot dog at Costco is probably one of the most cost-effective winner outside the chicken.
It's like $1.25 and you get the hot dog and a drink.
It's $1.65 here. What do you mean $1.25?
Well, you're in California, man.
There's no way it's $1.25 there.
I thought it was $1.25 last time I was there. I may be wrong.
You are.
I may be wrong. Well, Dynamite.
I could use some house. Okay, we continue.
Yes.
I could use some house buying karma, business starting karma, and land development R2D2 karma.
Wow. Okay. Well, that means you get some R2D2 karma.
We got more.
We got more?
Huh. Jiggles for the kids. I need for jingles. I need Sleepy Creepy Joe, Brandon Poop Pants, Noodle Gun, WTC7. And if it's not too much to ask, and it is, could you play the Everything's a Scam song at the end of the show?
Okay.
My kiddos...
Hold on. Sleepy Joe, Brandon Poops His Pants.
I don't know that jingle.
Yeah,
Noodle Gun and WTC7. Exactly how those fit together, I have no idea.
Wait, Noodle Gun. Hold on a second. Okay, I got this over here. I got the scams. And in fact, Noodle Gun. Oh, man. This is so much. Yes. Okay.
WTC7 won't go away.
Wow. All right.
And he wants Everything's a Scam song at the end if he can. This is already too much. My kiddos, he says specifically, love that one. And yes, I do call them kiddos all the time. Sorry, guys. Thanks a bunch for what you do. And then he attached, I'm going to send you a copy of this, his 11-year-old daughter, it says Guinevere, I think, or Guinevere, it's hard to say, read his writing.
Guinevere.
Drew the comics. She did 2 comics for us. And one of them is funny, and about you. You're up I'll send these to you, but they're funny. I just give her credit for having 2 funny cartoons that are hard to explain.
All right, let me see.
And we're done.
Let me see if I can do this. Yeah.
Sheepy-do, sheepy-do, sheepy-do. Did Brandon poop his pants?
I'm gonna shoot you in the face with my noodle gun, you racist piece of shit. I got my pasta Glock locked and loaded.
WTC7 won't go away.
You've got karma.
There we go. Nailed it. Dame Catherine.
And the show's over.
Yeah, that's right. Dame Catherine is in Bangkok, and she comes in with $1,006.96.
Yeah, she's been a supporter forever. But she tells us a little story here in this note that I find distressing.
I don't think she's been a supporter at all.
Yeah, she has. This is the woman in Bangkok that lets out her apartment, and we've mentioned her for years. She's been.
I don't think she's ever sent any donations.
I think she has, but
well,
I know we've been in contact with her forever.
She says, I saw Adam on the Max Kaiser show in 2016 walking down a very noisy Austin street. Max got me interested in Bitcoin and crypto in 2015, and I've done very well for myself. So I'm donating this $1,000 in Bitcoin and as a switcheroo for my son, J.D. Sutton in Durango. Now, J.D. Sutton sounds familiar. It's definitely. And it was a Bitcoin donation. Let me just put J.D. Sutton here now to make sure that we do that right. Please knight him, Sir J.D. of the shimmering deep sea. I first listened to the No Agenda show and heard the little girl scream, "Shut up, slave!" I thought, OMG, these guys are pedos into S&M. Are you sure? Are you sure this is who you think it is?
I know who it is.
Yet I continued listening and laughing to this day. I now live in Bangkok and learn more about what's going on in America from you two than anyone else. I also love the boots on the ground reports. Yes, I listen to the donation segments as well. Yes, you should. Could you please create a Bitcoin jingle like the one you did for Joe Rogan donations? Thank you in advance. Oh, I didn't do a Bitcoin jingle. But I have one for you. Don't worry about that. I've been an expat living abroad since 2004. The Patriot Act was my red line. I lived 10 years in Zanzibar, an island off East Africa. I'm familiar. I had a gorgeous rooftop penthouse, and one day my farmer friend Suleiman and I went and bought some flowers. On the way home, Suleiman said, "We Zanzibaris don't grow flowers because we're poor. We only grow food." Then he said, "When I'm rich, I'm going to grow flowers." I asked, "What is the definition of being rich?" Without hesitation, he replied, "Being rich is having enough to share with others." I've been a hodler for years. I know there are more of you out there. Now is the time to rise up and support the best podcast in the universe with Bitcoin. Share the wealth. Dame Catherine, crypto granny of Bangkok. Please take me out with a little girl. She wants the Bitcoin jingle, a little girl, yay, and a shut up slave. I think we can do that for you.
Yay!
They're saying that all hell is going to break loose and you're going to need a Bitcoin.
Shut up, slave.
There you go. J.D. Sutton on deck. You got it. Thank you, Crypto Granny.
Another long note from Circumvent. 34567. Hey, Adam.
Yes.
Just a quick note. It was Dame G Money's birthday on Monday, 26 June, and I sent a donation in for that, but it somehow got missed.
Yeah, I sent it to the wrong PayPal.
Sent it to John C. Dvorak Company PayPal.
He sent it to the old one. The old one. So, but still, I'll take the blame. It's my fault. I'm sorry.
He says it's your fault.
It's my fault.
Could you give her a late birthday shout out? Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Also, why do people call Dylan Mulvaney TG? He is not TG. He is a woman's parody like Dame Edna Everage, who's now deceased.
Deceased, yeah, Barry Humphries.
No one would have called Barry Humphries TG. Dylan Mulvaney is a shitty actor playing a role as a woman because he couldn't get work as a man. He never even bothered taking on a female name. Just my 2 cents worth. I attached an ISO of Ted Cruz thanking you for your courage, which could be an end of show ISO for you. This is from a hearing with Riley Gaines, a swimmer who tied with Leah Thompson. Oh, and this will make me a baron. Not sure whether there's a size restriction on protectorates, but I would like to be the baron of the Northern Territory. If you haven't seen the promotional stuff, here's a link. They are somewhat irreverent. Anyway, thank you for your courage. Great show as always. If I can get a goat karma and you are going to love President Trump.
We don't have you're going to love President Trump.
I never heard that either.
I've never heard it. But I'll do this for you. And he wants goat karma, so.
They did dumps. They call them dumps. Big, massive dumps.
That should be good enough.
You've got karma.
We go to Alan Green in Ogden, Utah, 333.33. And, the Biden no, that was your clip. That's not a jingle. I didn't ISO that, right? Did you make an ISO of that?
No, you'd have to look it up.
Yeah.
It's still in the file.
Yeah, but what was it called? Because you...
Oh, I did make an end of show mix.
Yeah, but what would the ISO be called?
No.
No, I wish.
It should be a ISO no.
No, we have an ISO no, but I'm looking for the one the recent clip that you had. And
I also turned that in as an ISO.
Well,
I think that's it.
No. It's
play
not.
it.
Well, no, I don't have it. It's not here. It's just not true.
Okay, well, then forget it.
I'm sorry. In the morning, John Adam, Joe Rogan Donation. Rogan Donation, please de-douche.
You've been de-douched.
I'm employed at Tier 1 Concealed in Ogden, Utah. We specialize in premium Kydex holsters for concealed carry. I work in the design and apparel department. Yeah. For anyone in Gitmo Nation that needs a new t-shirt, go to tier1concealed.com and purchase the t-shirt Guns of Summer. This design is a collaboration between myself and Capitalist Agenda. There you go. Artists on deck. Thanks, Capitalist Agenda, for your time on this t-shirt. And thank you, Adam, for recommending No Agenda artists for design projects. That's what's great about No Agenda Social, when people do that stuff instead of memes. Please go to tier1concealed.com to purchase the Guns of Summer t-shirt. Anything else you need, use code ITM for 10% off your entire purchase. Shout out to Greg and Ashlyn Speed, who I've also been in contact with through No Agenda Social. Ashlyn, of course, our racing demon, who is winning left and right. He'll be in Formula One before we're dead. I love you, No Agenda. I love you, John and Adam. Thank you for your service. Jingles, Trump, I'm going to come. Biden, no. How about I do an Obama, no. That should make you feel somewhat better.
That'll work.
Yeah,
I'm going to come.
Yeah.
That's not Obama.
Yeah.
No.
You've got karma.
Matthew Rackwall, I think, Wachwal, in Lannon, Wisconsin.
Looks like it.
Quite a few episodes ago, John brought up IBM Watson while talking about AI, and it reminded me of the time working at a small startup. We leveraged Watson to consume news articles and match products relevant to the article in our ad widget. Shortly after going live, we received panic calls about our widget. It suggested children's underwear for an article about child abuse and molestation.
Wow.
Thank you, AI. And shortly after that, it suggested fire starting supplies for an article about a house that burned.
That's IBM's
AI at work.
Yeah.
As a result, the widget was quickly removed from the hard news section.
You think?
IBM Watson then became an excessively expensive keyword matcher for sports articles and sports paraphernalia. However, when we told investors that we were leveraging IBM's AI Watson, it really wooed them. Ha! Love is lit. Thank you for the best podcast in the universe. Can I get an AI Sharpton mix?
AI
Thursday,
Sharpton.
June 29th is my 33rd birthday. Can you add me to the list? You're on the list. Thank you.
We need an AI Sharpton. All I got is Al Sharpton.
Tonight is the measure of whether the country begins in the state of Wisconsin a national drive to push back, or whether we have more to go to build a movement of resistance. But resist, we must, and we will much about that. Be committed.
There are people who can do that whole thing from front to back. I love that. And did you need a karma? No, just Al Sharpton. Surveilled is in Palmetto, Florida, 33333. Adam and John, you guys are killing it with the No Agenda podcast. It's like a breath of fresh air in a world where news feels more like a broken record every day. Your value for value model is pure genius. Cutting out the commercials and letting us listeners show our appreciation directly is the way to go. Thanks for the hours of thought-provoking entertainment, and here's to many more. Attached is my accounting for a title change of Baron to Viscount on my way to Earl. Please change my title to Surveilled Viscount of FEMA Region Number 4. I would appreciate a little health karma and anything Sharpton. Surveilled Viscount of FEMA Region 4. And we go.
RESPICT.
You've got karma.
Sir Nacho Alcatraz is the note of the day. He's in Mexico, and he says, ITM from Mexico, caballeros. Sir Nacho Alcatraz, 333.33.
Para mañana. To you. Nikolai Nikolov is in Northborough, Massachusetts, 333.33. Happy St. Peter's and Paul Day. Thanks for all you do. No jingles, no karma. Thank you, Nicola.
Benjamin Bauer in Placerville, California. Is up there in the area where Dana is.
Oh.
Thanks for making me laugh at the insane world we live in. 2-year listener, first-time donation. Heard you on JRE. Joe Rogan donation. In need of a douching and some yak karma. Keep up the good work, boys. Eldorado Slayer of Turkey.
You've been de-douched. You've got karma.
And Chris Cervellera, Ocala, Florida, 333. Adam and John, I'm in desperate need of a de-douche.
You've been de-douched.
I would like to call out Glenn Bukowski, Esquire, as a douchebag. Many years ago, Glenn hit me in the mouth when we were in law school. Since then, both of us have become lawyers here in the free state of Florida. However, while Glenn donated prior to being called to the bar, he has yet to donate as a lawyer. You're right. I would argue that when we become lawyers, we sell our souls and our prior selves cease to exist. He needs to atone and live up to his Esquire status by sharing some of the fruits of his billable hours with the show. I'm in agreement on that. Lawyers, you need to repent. Quickly proclaiming 2 things here. One, No Agenda Show is not merely the best podcast in the universe. It is the best and most important media empire in the universe. I know it doesn't roll off the tongue as nicely, but I believe it to be true. 2, for those producers who have not visited noagendashow.net, specifically the producers page, you are missing out. There are so many amazing and useful resources, links, and producer projects. This page alone, in addition to signing up for the free newsletter, is worth some value from all of us. I encourage everyone who is listening to donate any amount so we can keep this media empire going. Thank you for all you do. No jingles, no karma. Nice note, man. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Baron Finch in Portland, 23456, Associate Executive Producer. Love the newsletter, JCD. Stellar shows of late, gents. ITM jingles. Don't drone me, bro. 2 to the head, boom shakalaka, girl. Much needed work karma. Baron Finch.
I don't think there's a don't drone me, bro jingle. I think that was a sign that I held up. Does that make sense?
I don't know.
2.
Drone again, maybe? Don't drone me, bro. I don't remember one that you mentioned. I do remember the sign.
Hold on a second. Where is... I can't find anything right now for some reason. 2 to the head. I can't find a single thing. Okay. I can do a drone again. I can do that drone again. All right.
Boom shakalaka. Boom shakalaka.
A drone again. Naturally.
You've got karma.
Sir, a note for
Black Knight, E.T., yes.
He's in Philadelphia, 222 Road, Ducks. He has a handwritten note. Hey, John, what happened to those ladies after their tit gets caught in the wringer? Do they make it out okay?
My goodness.
My birthday is June 30th, and I am in need of a cheer up karma. Love you, mean it. Black Knight, Sir E.T.
All right. Cheer up karma.
Here
you go. You've got karma.
Could be easy. Could be easy, not E.T.
E.T. Easy. It's probably easy.
Hard to say.
Probably easy. It must be easy. I think I remember it.
Yeah,
easy.
I think it is.
All right. Kelly P. Rego, Makawao, Hawaii, Row Ducks 222. Switcheroo.
It'd be Makawao.
Well, it doesn't matter because it's a switcheroo. From Kelly Rego to Pluma, a.k.a. Heather Godwin. So I guess I'll put that in. A.k.a. Heather Godwin. You got that. Done. In the morning, John Adams' row of ducks is a switcheroo in honor of my dear friend Pluma. Instead of hitting her in the mouth, I've decided to jumpstart her path to damehood. Oh, nice gift. I'm deeply grateful she got me to listen to the best podcast in the universe. I've been listening since 2021 and appreciate all the value you've added to my life. It's Pluma's birthday on Wednesday, June 28th. If you could please add her to the birthday list, of course. Could I get 2 jingles? Could I get some mac and cheese? Yeah, we got some mac and cheese. And I got ants. Got a little bit of that for you for sure. Love is lit. Thank you for all you do. That is from Kelly.
You slaves can get used to mac and cheese. Cheap macaroni and cheap cheddar melted together.
Mac and cheese.
I got ants.
You've got karma.
Dame Beth, on June 21st, she writes, Heil, boys.
Heil.
An amazing crew of familiar and new faces assembled for the Too Hot Tucson Solstice Soiree and had a great time. We even hit our server in the mouth. Over the past 3 weeks, we have had oak fire burn nearly through. Oh, we had an oak fire. Oh, interesting. Oak, huh?
Oak fire.
3,300 acres in a Ventana fire in our beloved Santa Catalina Mountains burned 133 acres. We humbly request 1 share of the rain stick to kick our starter. To kickstart our slacker monsoon season, please.
You said share, but I'm sure she said shake.
Share.
Do you have your equipment?
I said share instead of what?
Instead of shake.
Oh, yeah. I said 1 shake. Sorry. Yeah, I do have it right here.
So is that
does that a half? That means we flip it once?
Well, 1 shake means who cares? Let's just do 2. So 1.
I'm doing 1.
So, over and then back. It's that's a half. 1 and then back. That's
okay.
1, 2, 3. Here we go. You're shaking too much.
I'm shaking with your way of spot. It's the way you shake it. I got the instruction book right here.
I wish you many monsoons in northern Silicon Valley.
She says, thank you. She says, Dame Beth, on behalf of the southern Arizona slaves.
It's going to flood somewhere. It's obvious. Ugh.
Yeah.
You're not acting very professional that way.
I'm doing it exactly the way you're supposed to do it. I don't know what you're up to.
I was taught by the best, but okay. Sir Eric, Fort Gratiot. I know. Gratiot. There we go. Gratiot. That's
Gratiot.
Fort Gratiot. Yeah. I remembered. Michigan. 20715. Interesting. Sir Eric of Ye Old Forge, Jobs Karma, maybe making some changes in my life. MILF, early celebration of the birthday of my smoking hot wife of 29 years, and they never had a fight. And Boom Shakalaka, we run a fireworks stand to help pay for our kids' college. This is the name of our best-selling mortar kit, the Boom Shakalaka.
MILF.
Nice name.
One mother I'd like to.
Boom shakalaka. Boom shakalaka.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Scott the Welder in Brooklyn, New York. I just want you to know that CNC routers without a vacuum table suck, and Johnson the coffee roaster is probably still a douchebag. Can I get some more jobs karma? That worked out pretty good last time. Keep on keeping on. You guys have kept me sane for the last 3 years. Scott.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
We got Raymond Bell from Langley, BC in Scandinavia, $200. Keep up the good work, gents. Shout out to Billy and Spud from War Mode. Done. Done.
And there I am again with Linda Lupatkin in Lakewood, Colorado. Jobs karma for all of you job hunters out there, and for a competitive edge, go to imagemakers.com for all your executive resume and job search needs.
You screwed it up.
I did?
Yeah, it's imagemakersinc.com.
Oh, go to imagemakersinc.com.
With a K.
With a K, Inc. Or just find Linda Lupatkin under the show's executive producer list and run a search.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs. You've got.
She's on a roll like our buddy in North Carolina, our buddy who's always donating the boobs donation.
Yeah. McLaughlin, yeah. Finally, the final associate executive producer, Sir Devin from Elko, Nevada, $200. In the morning, you two, I'm offering a belated birthday donation for myself. I turned 23 on June 4th, but wanted to wait to have this letter read while I drive across the breadth of Nevada along Highway 50, the loneliest road in America, concluding with a visit to Great Basin National Park. I've left an optional note for you two below regarding mineral exploration in Nevada that hopefully you find interesting.
Oh, yeah.
I read that. Did you read it?
Yeah, it's very interesting.
If I could get a biscuit on my birthday, yeah, of course you can.
They always give me a biscuit on my birthday.
And my favorite ISO is Alex Jones' Twilight Zone. Do we have that? Do we have the Twilight Zone? Twilight. Yes, I do have that. I do have that for you. And I'd like some karma, and I sure appreciate all of that. Thanks for what you do. You two do. It's Sir Dirty Jersey. Oh, no. That's the next one. That's Sir Devin. Yes, thank you.
I'm living in a twilight zone.
There you go. And a little bit of karma for you. Thank you so much.
You've got karma.
By the way, I think Highway 40 is lonelier than 50. 50 goes through all these nice little towns.
Well, when's the last time you did it?
When I was a little kid.
Yeah, there you go. It all depends on what you were like at the time. I wanted to thank, before we move on, Field Day was this past weekend. That's when all the hams go out and make sure that they can make some contacts, work some other stations on battery power. It's really for MCOMs, emergencies, so that we all keep in practice. And my phone rang, and I love this. My phone rang from an Austin number, a 512 number. And I'm like, oh, who's this? And I picked it up and said, yes, hello. I have a message from the 7290 traffic net for Adam Curry, Kilo 5, Alpha Charlie Charlie. This thing, it actually works. So, you can do this. You can send a message through your ham radio and say, I want you to contact someone. And they went through the trouble of finding a phone number for me. They found a phone number and passed on the message from Juliet Kilo Tango 20 in the morning on Field Day from Central New York. 7290s.
And they got to your phone?
Yeah. Yeah. The hams are very resourceful.
I like the hams.
I love the hams. 73s to all you hams. And thank you all very much to our executive and associate executive producers who supported us once again with those forever credits for this episode 1568. We appreciate it a lot. And anybody can do that. You just have to go to our website.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Shut up, Slade.
Yeah, here's that website.
Dvorak.org/NA.
There we go. Nice.
I'm going to try to get Jay to become a ham.
Yeah, but she'd be a good ham. She'd be a great ham.
Yeah.
She'd be hamalicious. Hamalama ding dong. I got to play something here which corroborates completely with something we busted wide open when I was doing the show from Jamaica. This is the show when weeks before anyone else did it, we pulled apart the fake interview, a fake Zoom call. Well, it was a real Zoom call, but it was a fake Zelensky with Fifi Lagarde. You remember Christine Lagarde?
Oh, yeah.
She was all jacked up about, President Zelensky. I'm so happy you're Zooming. It was the two jokers from Russia who we love.
Those guys.
Those guys are the best. And she was talking about, in October, we're going to have the central bank digital currency. We'll get it all set up. We know exactly how we're going to do it. We've got the levels all set, and we're going to rock. It's going to happen. Well, wouldn't you know, yesterday, this announcement came out in the EU. Deutsche Welle reports.
The European Commission published a proposal on Wednesday that would introduce digital legal tender for use within the 20-member Eurozone. The digital euro is meant to be used alongside the existing euro as an additional form of online payment and cannot be converted into cash. Unlike cryptocurrencies, it will have the backing of the European Central Bank. The EU Commissioner for Financial Stability, Mairead McGuinness, cited several reasons for the move to a digital tender. One is that the declining use of cash. But there's also a concern that other nations will dominate the digital economy if the EU doesn't take action. So far, Nigeria, Jamaica, and several other Caribbean nations have fully launched centrally backed digital currencies. Another 53 countries are in the advanced stages of a rollout, including China, India, Japan, and Brazil. Let's get more on this from DW correspondent Bernd Riegert.
Did you want to say something, John?
Yeah.
What?
Wasn't like 2 or 3 years ago that India went all digital and it was a big deal?
I don't.
You got to remember that.
I remember they took away a whole bunch of money. They made new money. I remember they took away banknotes. I don't think they went all digital. They can't go all digital. The country is filled with poor people.
No, I realize it's impossible, but I thought that they made an effort to.
No.
Already, like years ago.
Hey, who cares? This is the EU. I'm going there on vacation. This is going to be fun.
This from DW correspondent Bernd Riegert in Brussels. Bernd, good to see you. Tell us more about why EU regulators feel this digital euro is actually necessary.
This is going to happen.
The EU Commission says it wants to be part of the game. It feels that it is necessary to have also...
The game. It's the game. Part of the game. The game, man.
What game?
The game. The digital game. The game to scam people, to print up money digitally, and then get, your next stimulus check will come through your CBDC. But listen, this is what they want to do everywhere. This is the central bank mantra.
Good luck.
This is happening. This is happening in Europe.
The Commission says it wants to be part of the game. It feels that it is necessary to have also a digital branch of the euro, which is the second biggest currency in the world. And they want to fulfill the wishes of consumers. There was a survey and consumers say, yes, we want that.
We want it.
And it also grants some kind of independence from payment systems like MasterCard or Visa, which are all seated in the United States.
All right, you're paying with euro, I'm paying with euros. What are the practical benefits for consumers like you and me and other people within the Eurozone of this digital euro?
Well, paying with the euro, the digital euro shall be possible without paying any fees. It would work like cash in your pocket, so you don't need the middleman, the payment systems anymore. It would be safe because the value is guaranteed by the European Central Bank directly, and payments from one smart wallet to another smart wallet are possible without any online connection. So you don't need all the technical stuff anymore.
No technical stuff.
Bernd, critics say this digital euro can be more easily tracked, can be used for surveillance. What do advocates of this digital euro say about that?
Well, they say the opposite is true because the digital euro works like cash. You don't have so much data involved as if you pay with MasterCard or Visa because there's no name involved, there is no account involved, so you're not leaving much traces, and that's why the amount of digital euros you can have in your smart wallet is limited actually to 3,000 euros to avoid some abuse and also money laundering.
This is exactly what Lagarde said. Limit to 3,000 euros. Everything she said about the tracking. I like it's the digital euro, but you don't need any technical stuff. I like that part a lot.
Yeah, that's going to work. What's going to work is that there's going to be so much counterfeit money Because now you don't really have to print the money. The counterfeit money goes on the card directly.
That's the point. The central bank
that's why I think you're right. You should go to Europe, find one of our guys. We got plenty of them. That is in the middle there, some gray marketeer, and spend some money in France.
Now you're missing my point. The fraudulent money will be printed by the central bank. This is the only way out.
If they can do it, anyone can do it. I think you can also get your own fraudulent money.
No,
this is not going to work.
This is going to work exactly the way they intend. What I love the most about this topic is your constant saying it's not going to work. They are going to do this. It's going to be beautiful. They're going to create so much phony baloney money on this central bank backed currency. It's going to be great. It's going to be so fun to watch.
If you like economic collapse, you're probably right.
What do you
think? If you think that's great,
what do you think they're trying to do? This is the whole point. They want economic collapse. They want total control of their citizens. Oh man, where you been during COVID? This is what they want. They want obedient citizens. Take your money on this card and shut up. Show me your QR code to get into the bar. Promise you. Now, I hope it doesn't happen here, but man, they want it. They want it.
They can want anything they want. Good luck.
Good luck. Well, we'll see in October, won't we? We'll see in October.
Well, I'm not saying they won't roll something out. It doesn't mean it's going to go anywhere.
Okay.
Go back to Putin.
All right. I got lots
and the reason I want to go back to Putin because CBS ran a hit piece. And CBS, of course, we know is a front for the...
Well, let's before you get into your clips, I would say the entire point to the operation that took place, just to review from the last episode, one is to set up the terrorist attack on the nuclear plant so we can invoke Article 5 of NATO. That's what Blumenthal and Graham literally announced. Two, to do what the CIA has always been good at, is to make a leader look weak internally and then try and start a coup, get everybody all jacked up. They usually do it with NGOs. Putin kicked them out. So now we have the CIA broadcasting systems who I'm sure are going to compound the messaging about Putin being weak.
Yeah, I figured that this was the reason I wanted. In fact, this is the reason I wanted these clips, because they have to be. This is a messaging operation.
Yeah, information warfare.
This is the show from yesterday, and there was absolutely nothing on the show except this.
War in Ukraine and new fallout from that failed armed rebellion led by the leader of Russia's private army. There are questions tonight about whether the oligarch who leads the Wagner mercenary group had support for his revolt from inside the Russian military. CBS's Ian Lee reports from Kyiv.
The images shocked the world. Wagner troops advancing toward Moscow before turning around. But questions remain surrounding the mercenary boss Yevgeny Prigozhin's failed mutiny. CBS News has learned the U.S. has intelligence that a senior Russian general had advanced knowledge of the mutiny. The Kremlin says these allegations are speculation and gossip. But in Kyiv today, Ukraine's national security chief Oleksiy Danilov claimed Prigozhin was in league with not one, but 14 senior Russian military officers. Prigozhin is not an independent person, he tells me. He is owned by high-ranking people in President Putin's inner circle.
So Prigozhin does have support in the highest ranks of the Russian military.
They are his owners, he says. This is a group of people who have a goal to change the leadership of Russia. Many analysts say President Putin has been weakened by this revolt.
Wow, this is good. I didn't even see this one coming. So we know that obviously the Wagner Group, which has been the sole focus of attention of anything in the field on Russia, not Russian troops, not Russian war machines. No, it's all been Wagner Group, private military company Wagner Group, and they're obviously on the CIA payroll. But now they add a little twist to it by saying, "Oh no, it's people inside Russia who have this guy in his pocket. He's not Putin's chef anymore. It's the people around Putin. They want to bring him down."
Can you believe this?
I can believe they said. I can't believe we didn't predict this one. That's what I can't believe.
It actually is predictable, not looking back.
Yes.
But to come up with this cock and bull story.
It's great.
And then to have it come out of to secure the head of the CIA of Ukraine, whoever that guy is. Never heard of him.
It's great. I love this.
He comes up with this bullshit. It's like, oh my God. It is great. I agree. It's great. And it's amazing that you're right. We should have come up with this ourselves. But here we go with part 2 of the same basic clip.
Even if he executes the generals who had some sort of part in the mutiny, this will not affect the outcome, he tells me. The wheels are in motion for Putin's demise. The crisis at the top in Russia has so far not trickled down to the battlefield, where yesterday 2 Russian missiles destroyed a pizza restaurant during the evening rush. At least 11 people were killed in the attack, including 14-year-old twins, while dozens more were injured.
Tonight, Nora, President Zelensky announced the detention of a person he says coordinated the attack, adding anybody who helps the Russians destroy life deserves the maximum punishment.
I really like the twins edition, including 14-year-old twins.
Yeah, and they show them. They have a little picture of the 2 of them. They're cuties.
Oh, yeah.
And it makes
incubators. Throw the incubators on the floor. Throw the babies on the floor.
Yeah. Just exactly.
Well,
so you built the eye, and we see the 2 girls, and the propaganda piece is very good.
Well, the message is out. The message is out everywhere. I have some other examples of the exact same message. Maybe not with the Putin's guys on the inside were funding it, but. Here's NBC.
Now overseas to Russia, where today President Putin speaking out following that failed mutiny. Keir Simmons is with me from Moscow.
Failed mutiny. I like mutiny now. This is good. Is he on a ship?
On a ship?
On a ship?
Here, President Putin is now saying Russia averted a civil war.
Oh, civil war.
That's right, Lester. And tonight, the Kremlin's message to this country, President Putin is in control. Russia's leader praising security officials and his National Guard for saving the motherland from catastrophe. Rebellion leader Wagner Group commander Yevgeny Prigozhin is now in Belarus, according to reports there. Prigozhin's forces took over a Russian military headquarters and were marching towards Moscow when the deal was apparently cut. Putin today criticizing Prigozhin, saying in a year he paid his former ally $2 billion. Russia announcing it won't prosecute the mutineers.
Okay, so really just sowing confusion there. NBC.
Mutineer, which is okay, and then civil war. We got all these crazy things going on.
Why do you think they threw in mutiny? What is the point of that?
I think it's because the public understands what it means.
Oh, yeah. All right.
In other words, you're part of the system, and you mutiny because and mutiny also because of the movies like Mutiny on the Bounty and all these different. It indicates you have a guy that's running the ship that's out of control and has got to go. Caine Mutiny, Mutiny on the Bounty, these are where the captain is nuts.
I think you're right. Good point.
So it's associative.
Let's listen to Good Morning America.
President Zelensky is sounding the alarm about Russia taking steps to potentially sabotage a nuclear facility in Ukraine.
Yeah!
Could Russia do that?
Could Russia do that?
Could, Michael. They have the means. They may not have the motive yet. So they certainly have the engineering capability. They've held this power plant for a long time. What they may be doing is wiring the plant to create a nuclear incident.
Oh, they're wiring the plant. Oh, yes. They're wiring it up. Yeah, just like the World Trade Center.
And it would be something that Putin would keep in his pocket if there was some sort of catastrophic Ukrainian breakthrough in the front lines.
Oh, if there's a breakthrough on the front lines, then I push the button.
Perhaps he could blow up this power plant. But interestingly, if you look at the prevailing winds, if the Russians did that, most of the year they blow either towards the east or towards the south. So that fallout would theoretically come right back onto Russian troops and potentially Crimea.
Oh, this is an interesting little bit here. We need to have the wind, we need to change the wind direction because if it doesn't waft over Poland,
it's kind of a fly in the ointment.
If it doesn't waft over Poland, then we can't invoke Article 5. We have to have the wind in the right direction. Let's continue with Steve Ganyard.
Yeah, and Secretary of State Blinken said on This Week that real cracks are emerging in Russia's leadership. Is Putin's power at risk?
It certainly is for the first time in 24 years. But remember that sometimes cracks in foundations of buildings.
What is this? For the first time in 24 years.
It certainly is, for the first time in 24 years. But remember that sometimes cracks in foundations of buildings, they can cause catastrophic immediate effect, or they can go on for years, or maybe never. So we need to see how this plays out. And I think that every hour that we don't see Putin will be adding to that intrigue. But I think it's important, Michael, here to think about what this was and what it wasn't. It was not a coup attempt. It was not an insurrection. There was no popular support. This was a mercenary army mutinying. And Prigozhin felt the wall.
Mutiny, that's the talking point, John. It's the talking point.
It is. It looks like it. For everybody but CBS, who's got their own.
This is ABC and NBC. Orders. They've got the mutiny meme.
Prigozhin felt the walls closing in around him. He hatched a plan to save himself and his men. It was brilliant. He walked into this headquarters, this military headquarters.
It was brilliant.
Just hold on a second. The history of this operation is really they're a bunch of, I don't know, they're mercenaries that go to Africa to steal gold. That's their main thing.
Gold.
Why don't they just pack up and go back to Africa, where they've been doing business forever?
No.
As opposed to this bull crap.
Well, maybe because it's all bull crap.
Closing in around him, he hatched a plan to save himself and his men. It was brilliant. He walked into this headquarters, this military headquarters in the South, essentially put his feet up on the desk, says, I control this place, sent an armored column up to the north to pressure Putin, called Putin with the phones, recording the whole thing, controlling social media.
Are they just making this up as they go along?
Totally.
He put his feet up on the desk and called Putin on the secure line from that office?
And recorded it. Listen.
Sent an armored column up to the north to pressure Putin. Called Putin with the phones, recording the whole thing, controlling social media so Putin can control the narrative. And he said, let's negotiate. And Putin was unable to call his bluff, and he totally collapsed. It was totally humiliating for Putin, and Prigozhin pulled it all off brilliantly.
I mean, I didn't clip it because it was...
Hold on a second. Wait. How is he pulling this off beautifully when... he's exiled to Belarus, of all places.
Because he put pressure...
How is that pulling off anything? You're lucky to be alive. He can be assassinated at any point now.
He put pressure on Putin.
To what?
You're asking me about this phony op? You're asking me to explain it to you? This is a media war. This is all bull. I mean, half the media was saying, "Oh, look, everybody was happy to see Prigozhin." The other half is saying they were like kicking him out. This whole thing is
very
crazy.
Poorly orchestrated. Whoever's behind it.
France 24 had.
Well, yeah, no, I'm saying, but there's obviously a head of the operation. He did fine with CBS. That's a great report.
Yeah.
But these other things from ABC, they're
freewheeling. They're freewheeling. They don't have. They had a meeting. What do we call this? Mutiny. Okay, boss. It's good. Mutiny.
Just to get the one talking point. Go from there, boys. You can make it up as good as anyone.
Here's France 24.
The revolt may have been short-lived, but it's chipped away at...
Notice the music.
Vladimir Putin's stone-faced facade. The Wagner Group's failed uprising was slammed as treason by the Kremlin, but it was the biggest threat to his authority that Putin has faced in his 2 decades in power. For those watching from abroad, it was a remarkable slip for Russia's strongman.
16 months ago, Russian forces were on the doorstep of Kyiv in Ukraine.
This is Blinken.
Believing they would take the capital in a matter of days and erase the country from the map as an independent country. Now, what we've seen is...
Whoa, laugh tell.
Believing they would take the capital in a matter of days and erase the country from the map as an independent country. Now, what we've seen is...
What's up with that?
Yeah, laugh tell right in there.
Because he knows what he's saying. Oh, they would erase the country from the map. It's simply not true. The reason he pulled out is because they had a peace deal. Which Boris Johnson then went into. Oh, no, son. No Minsk agreement for you. We need war here. So he knows it's not true, And he's laughing about it.
Believing they would take the capital in a matter of days and erase the country from the map as an independent country. Now, what we've seen is Russia having to defend Moscow, its capital, against mercenaries of its own making.
Ukraine's allies have been monitoring the situation closely. French President Emmanuel Macron said the Wagner Group march on Moscow shows the divisions that exist within the Russian camp.
There's so much alliteration. March on Moscow, pressure on Putin. I love it.
And the fragility of both its military and its auxiliary forces. Ukrainian President Zelensky has discussed the turmoil across the border with Poland, Canada, and US President Joe Biden. But for now, he's holding his cards close to his chest.
Now, China.
The longer Russian aggression lasts, the more degradation it causes in Russia itself. This manifests itself as aggression, which is gradually turning inwards and coming home to roost. In my conversations with my fellow leaders, we exchanged our assessment of what is happening in Russia. We see the situation the same way and know how to respond.
You know, there's something to be said for this tactic. With the media being so widespread the way it is today, if you just keep saying it, Putin weak, pressure, mutiny.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the people inside Russia will start to
I don't know that they
waver.
get the word. The people inside Russia have been cut off.
But they got YouTube and TikTok. They're posting on YouTube. Yes, of course. We need to leave. YouTube is open for Russia. Believe me.
It would have been over for Putin if the NGOs were still around.
I agree.
And the media was a little looser. They probably would have gotten him out by now. But he's done a really amazing job of staying in power. And I don't know if this is going to work. I mean, I know that they'd love to get rid of him. I'm not sure what they want.
Well, this is what what I'm worried about is that they being us, trip off some charges at the nuclear power plant, which they do have to wait for the winds of change. Make sure the wind's going the right way, otherwise it doesn't count. It's wafting
they're going to have trouble
way.
with that because you can't. Well, they have weather machines that can do something.
Yes,
maybe
they do.
But
in the meantime,
I don't know.
The co-chairs of the Ukraine Recovery Conference in London 2023 have made a joint statement, of which I'd like to read a little bit. What they've agreed to, so we understand what's at stake here. Ukraine's partners have agreed to provide a further $60 billion to meet the recovery and reconstruction needs of Ukraine. The EU announced a new multi-year facility of $50 billion for recovery. The U.S. announced $1.3 billion in additional aid to Ukraine, including $675 million to modernize Ukraine's critical infrastructure. I didn't know about that. The UK announced a further $3 billion in guarantees to support additional World Bank lending up to 2027, $240 million of support for immediate needs. That's Zelensky's coke habit. Switzerland announced a further 1.5 Swiss francs to support up to 2027. But here, nearly 500 global businesses from 42 countries worth more than $5.2 trillion and 21 sectors have already signed the Ukraine Business Compact, pledging to support Ukraine's recovery and reconstruction. And to make sure that everything goes okay, the government of Ukraine and its partners are responding to business demand to extend commercial insurance coverage in Ukraine. The conference launched the London Conference War Risk Insurance Framework, which means you have no risk for your money. The taxpayers of all these other countries will pay in case your money gets blown up. Funny how that's not on the news.
Oh, it's not going to be on the news.
And I love seeing Kiev. You know, what is your impression that Kiev's under constant attack and it's being blown up?
Well, it's a big city.
Yeah.
And there's a missile that hits it about once a week.
Yeah.
And the missile costs X amount of money, and it's killing maybe 5 to 10 people, but 11 this last time. And so it's a very expensive process to kill the people. And I don't even know that this is a missile. I mean, you don't know. I mean, this whole thing's such a scam.
Well, but I keep seeing
they're not under bombardment, and there's no swarms of drones hitting Kyiv. They're hitting the areas around the Donbass mostly.
Yeah, I keep
just
seeing
occasionally some missile goes into Kyiv.
They have they have like 3 electric scooter companies, just like New York or wherever. I got these electric scooters everywhere, riding around. Everyone's having a good time. This is
when they show the reports, the guys are in Kyiv. They seem to be,
but now listen
having
to this.
a good time there. It doesn't look like it's.
Listen to this.
Doesn't look like Sudan or Somalia. That's for sure.
The United States on Tuesday imposed sanctions aimed at disrupting gold mining activities that fund the Wagner Group in Africa, vowing to hold the mercenaries accountable for abuses days after they stage a mutiny in Russia. The measures against the Wagner Group have been previously planned, but were briefly put on hold as U.S. officials sought to avoid appearing to favor a side in the power struggle. So now they're going after Africa's gold. They call it sanctions, but you know where that gold is going to wind up.
Yeah.
Not in Africa.
Knox,
not
where it belongs.
Not in Africa. The world is so crazy. It's just crazy. I should have played this clip earlier. I finally found it.
We're back with the investigation into the gruesome death of an airport ground crew worker in Texas. The NTSB says a baggage handler at San Antonio's airport died after being ingested into the engine of a Delta plane Friday. The jet was taxiing after arriving from L.A. A similar incident happened in late December when a ramp agent at the airport in Montgomery, Alabama, died after being pulled into a plane's engine. The American Airlines subsidiary involved was recently fined after investigators found a lack of communication and effective training.
I'm telling you, I love this new thing.
Your thinking is that because of these 2 pre-events, that could be Hunter Biden's fate.
It would be perfect. He's always riding private jets, his buddy's private jet. It's just a feeling I have.
Yeah.
I need to. Well, first of all, we got another great note on the phony baloney chicken, which you said you were going to read.
Yeah, the latest note. You have it?
I do. You said you were going to read it.
Yeah, I was going to. In fact, I was saying dibs on reading it. But you can read it because you read the first one.
Because I have it right here.
It's a great note.
So again, this is how the chicken is made it needs a culture. It needs
you don't make chicken out of thin air with this phony chicken. It has to be fed a nutrient. And so the nutrient, it turns out, is, well, here's the note that explains it in great detail.
FBS, fetal bovine serum or fetal calf serum, unbeknownst to most, is made as follows. In an abattoir/slaughterhouse, when pregnant cows are slaughtered, they cut out the dead fetus or calf, drain all of its blood, spin it down in a big centrifuge, and you're left with the solids and the serum. We filter and bottle the serum, and it's used for the cell culture of chicken. This is fantastic. It's so good.
Great.
It's so good. I can't wait. I mean, anyway.
And so the guy goes on to mention that I wonder how many vegans know of this.
Yeah, vegans don't know anything.
So no.
Now what's really kicking off now is this semaglutide, or known as Ozempic, Wegovy, etc.
Yeah, now they're bringing out the pill version.
It's not just the pill version. It's the race to create the pill version.
I thought the pill version was released.
We're back 7:39 this morning on In Depth Today. A closer look at the race to create an approved weight loss pill.
Yeah, Ozempic and Wegovy, both wildly popular for helping people shed pounds quickly. They require an injection, though. However, there could be an option soon for those same drugs and others without any shot.
By the way, this is a native ad, in case you hadn't guessed.
And it'll likely mean lower costs, too. So here with what you need to know is Dr.
Dr. Roshni Raj, an associate professor of medicine at NYU Langone Health. Dr. Raj, good morning.
Good morning.
This is kind of a big deal. A lot of people would shy away from an injectable, but maybe a pill they'd say yes to. What do you think we're going to see here?
100%. I mean, it's a
100%.
changer when you think about the fact that the majority of Americans are overweight or obese. We're talking about
Did you know that? First of all, they're bringing out all these associate professors. Oh, associate professor. And she says, first of all, she says 100%. And then she says, most Americans are overweight or obese. Really? Now, is that true? Most Americans are
I've heard
overweight
the number
or obese?
60%. So that would be most.
That's
but I
not
think
most.
that number's dubious.
Yes. All right. And I want you to hear the talking points, and we'll discuss later.
And I mean, it's a game changer when you think about the fact that the majority of Americans are overweight or obese. We're talking about a huge market here. And as you said, the injections themselves have been wildly popular, but there are many people who are either needle phobic, so they really can't stand needles, or they just would much prefer a pill. So now we're going to be opening up access to many more people.
Would that pill be like an everyday kind of pill that you take?
Yes. So different drug companies are working on pill forms. Most of them are once a day. One of them is twice a day. So it is something you would be taking every day for sure.
Cheaper than the injection?
Yes, it is actually. It's, generally speaking, for medications, much cheaper to do an oral medication as opposed to an injection. Many injections have to be stored at cold temperatures. Just putting it in the pen itself, all of that is an expense, where with the pill, it should be significantly cheaper.
A lot of folks just don't like needles either.
Yeah. Whenever there's like a magic pill, it sounds amazing, and you've been struggling to lose weight, but always on the other side of that coin, there's stuff that can go wrong. So what's the downside to this?
Yeah, well, when we talk about, first of all, side effects of the pill versus the injection, it looks like they're the same. So nausea, vomiting, constipation, diarrhea, probably the same percentage.
Kidney
and it's
failure,
significant. Between 10 and 20% of people will have significant side effects to the point where they need to stop. But then in terms of the long-term consequences, we really don't know when it's for diabetes. It has been studied, but for weight loss, this whole idea of slowing down the emptying of the stomach to make you feel full longer, that's part of how these drugs work. What are the long-term implications of that? And I just want to point out, the studies really have looked at people who are obese or significantly overweight with a weight-related condition. This has not been studied on people who want to lose 10 pounds before their wedding in a month. So the fact that the pills especially are going to open it up to so many more people, we're also going to see a lot of people using it for not necessarily the correct indication.
Well, are there any plans to study that, since it's clearly how people are using the drug?
Absolutely, yes, because people are using it off-label. Doctors are prescribing it, not necessarily for those stricter conditions. We are going to see more research on that as well.
What about a timeline on these pills? Any idea how soon we could see these come to market?
Yeah, well, notice. I can never say that word. They are actually looking for approval later this year, so that's pretty close. Some of the other ones are still doing larger trials, so we won't see it until next year at the earliest.
All right, Dr. Raj, we appreciate it. Thank you so much. Good to see you.
Good to see y'all. So,
did you get a time code on that? I bet you was right on the money.
256. Yep, pretty much.
Probably a 3-minute ad.
3-minute ad. So if you look at I have the insert, the package insert here, and this is what I find so disgusting. And I have 2 more short reports. Every single report is, little diarrhea. By the way, they have diarrhea and constipation, which is interesting. You're going to have both at the same time?
That's hard to imagine.
Diarrhea, constipation, nausea, vomiting. Yeah, no, but by the way, so is this for people who just want to, lose 10 pounds before their class reunion? Well, that's not really how you should use it, but that's how we want you to use it.
That's why they keep saying it.
Of course. You
got a class reunion coming up, lose some weight. Don't go in there as a fatso.
Here we go from the insert sent to us by the No Agenda anesthetist. What is the most important information I should know about Ozempic? Ozempic may cause serious side effects, including, what did you just hear? What are the serious side effects?
Constipation, stomach ache, nausea, maybe.
Right.
Nothing much.
According to the packaging insert, it says possible thyroid tumors, including cancer. Tell your healthcare provider if you get a lump or swelling in your neck, hoarseness, trouble swallowing, or shortness of breath. These may be symptoms of thyroid cancer. In studies with rodents, Ozempic and medicines that work like Ozempic cause thyroid tumors, including thyroid cancer. It is not known if Ozempic will cause thyroid tumors or type of thyroid cancer called medullary thyroid carcinoma in people.
To be avoided.
Yes, to be avoided. Here's ABC.
Back now with medical news. An oral version of the weight loss drug Ozempic is on the way. And that's all thanks to a new study. Researchers have found the active ingredient in both Ozempic and Wegovy may be just as effective when taken as a pill instead of being injected. Now, one doctor called the development a game changer, but some are warning of more side effects. The oral drug likely won't make it to the market this year.
Oh, but wait, we have to bring in Dr. Jen.
All right, let's talk medical news. Dr. Jen, there's a brand new study that's talking about a pill version of the active ingredient in the popular weight loss drugs, Ozempic and Wegovy.
That's correct.
Could be game-changing?
Yeah, so big picture now. We're talking about an oral form of this medication that was FDA approved for people with type 2 diabetes back in 2019. Now it's being studied just for the endpoint of weight loss. So here's what the study found. They looked at about 600 plus adults with a body mass index greater than 30. They were chosen randomly. They did not, I want to repeat, did not have type 2 diabetes. In the group that took this oral semaglutide, brand name Rybelsus, they found a decrease in their body mass index by 15% compared to just over 2% in those who were given placebo. Side effects were mild to moderate, short-lived, transient, mostly gastrointestinal.
Short-lived, transient, mostly gastrointestinal.
Of nature. And of course, we have to remember there is a pretty significant cost to these medications if they're not covered by insurance. But potentially now that we have some good data on this oral form, it's possible we could see it get an FDA approval just for weight loss in people who are overweight or obese.
This is going to be great. I can't wait.
Okay, well, first of all, let's stop these clips and ask ourselves, why are they playing these bullshit clips? I'm going to read you something. Rybelsus, the pill version of Ozempic that is currently on the market.
There you go.
And made by the same manufacturer, is approved to treat type 2 diabetes just like Ozempic.
Which manufacturer? Which manufacturer?
Same guys. Ozempic makes this. And it's called Rybelsus, and you can do the off-label prescription for it. So what is the point of all these reports that are bogus? There's something else going on here.
Are you sure Rybelsus is from Novo Nordisk?
I'm just saying, I'm just reading it. Rybelsus is the pill version of Ozempic that is currently on the market and made by the same manufacturer. If you look up Rybelsus, Rybelsus.
I'm going to.
We can get more details.
Manufacturer. Okay, this is interesting. Well, so it's either an ad against... No, you're right. Novo Nordisk announces FDA approval of label update. Oh, label update. Okay.
They already had it out. This has been out for a while.
Well, maybe it's not working right. Why
it's something else. There's some other vendor coming in. Pfizer, I'm guessing.
Yeah, let's see.
This is bullshit. Everything you played is some part of some marketing scheme.
Well, of course, we just haven't quite put our finger on it.
How do they live with themselves, these people?
They just look at their penthouse, they look at their Rolls Royce and say, yeah, I can live with myself. Let's finish up with Dr. Jen.
Is there a reason you would choose the pill over the injection or the injection over the pill? To me, it'd be like, why would you give yourself a shot?
Well, first of all, frequency of dosage, the injection, which, by the way, is not painful, but a lot of people just don't like the idea of giving themselves an injection. It does have to be refrigerated. It's dosed on a weekly basis, once a week. This pill, obviously, would not be refrigerated, and it would be taken every single day. So just a different route of administration. I think it's great we're seeing more in the field of obesity medicine for options for management and treatment. Again, not for everyone, but for some people, this could be significant.
You said it, more options. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, here's why. Rybelsus has only received FDA approval for people with type 2 diabetes. What they're talking about here is the same damn pill with a different label on it called Ozempic in pill form, and that will be approved.
Is it going to be Ozempic in pill form, or is it going to be a different company?
What the slides show is Ozempic. They show Ozempic in 2023. Pfizer, not known yet, probably 2025. Pfizer, by the way, has not done well with their stage 2 trials. Of course not, because people are going to die from this. Don't take this, people.
Yeah, this is
I don't want to give medical advice, but I'm just looking at the insert, and it doesn't look like a good idea to me. Final from NBC.
Also this evening, a lot of people buzzing about Ozempic. Is it a miracle drug for losing weight? A doctor at Stanford says yes.
Now, here comes another associate professor, and listen to this. I don't know what this is. Why? This is from your area. NBC Bay Area. They do a whole native ad up there.
It's the real thing. Ozempic's primary use is to help people with type 2 diabetes, to regulate their blood sugar levels. But it's quickly become the latest craze for weight loss. According to experts, it can help patients shed up to 15% of their body weight within a matter of months. If you're looking to drop some pounds, you might be thinking, sign me up. But there are some downsides here. Let's talk about it. With us tonight, Drs. Dan Azaga.
This is another native ad. They're just going to tell you it's good for your high school reunion.
Some downsides here. Let's talk about it. With us tonight, Drs. Dan Azagari from Stanford. Doctor, thanks for being with us. Bottom line here, does it really work, and is it safe?
Does it work, and is it safe?
Yeah, thank you for having me, Raj. It works, and it's safe.
There you go. There you go. It works. It's safe and effective.
And the FDA has the role of the FDA is to tell us that, and that's exactly what they've said.
Oh, the role of the FDA. Oh my God, I can't believe what we're doing to our fellow citizens. It's so outrageous. I don't know what to do.
Well, the only thing you can do is to vote for RFK Jr.
There you go.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda in the morning.
We have a few people to thank for show 1568. Starting with Dirty Jersey Whore. Sir Dirty Jersey Whore from Gladewater, Texas. I always thought it was from Jersey. $197.60, which is almost $200. So why don't you give him a biscuit for his birthday? He's on the list.
Oh, hold on a second. I have a biscuit right here.
They always give me a biscuit on my birthday.
There you go. Biscuit.
Jennifer Gurley in Beechwood, Ohio. This is for Bob's birthday, 133. Ted Mermel in Teaneck, New Jersey, 118. That's your neck of the woods. Chris Casey in Georgetown, Texas.
I live in Texas. What are you talking about?
No, you used to live in Teaneck.
Not even close.
No. Okay. Chris Casey, it sounds good, though, when it rolls off the tongue. Teaneck. Georgetown, Texas, that's your neck of the woods, $100.33 with a birthday coming up. James Williams in San Antonio, Texas, switcheroo for Jim Williams.
His son.
From his son, James. He's leaving for boot camp, $100. David K. Keys in Riverside, California, 100. Polat Abdubik in Briarcliff Manor, New York, another birthday.
For his son, Tim.
For his son, Tim, who introduced him to the show. Good. Jason Feingold, Los Angeles, California, $100. Bold FX in Lafayette, Colorado, 100. Jennifer Williams in Small Town, Texas. That's outside of Dallas. Needs a de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
This is a good... Just talking about a switcheroo, I'm going to make mention of this note. She says, just have to say, John is right. The bear is good.
No, you said you didn't like it. That's horrible. The bear is a lies. It's a dynamite show. We have 2 more episodes left. I love this show.
I'm right. Jennifer knows.
Goodness gracious.
Sir, hold my beer in Austin, Texas, 9906. Coming up to Baronet.
Yeah, Baronet. You got it.
Everett Bop in Maastricht, Netherlands. Took him forever to get his money, and I guess $85. And he's got a Maastricht meetup, which would be great.
Yes, and he's a first-time donor, so we'll give him a de-douche.
You've been de-douched.
Has not missed an episode since 2017. He likes us for our wit, and candor.
The wit is what makes it work.
That's nice.
Ryan Gordon, Carthage, North Carolina, 85. I'm sorry, 8008. He's a boobs man, North Carolina. They all are. Kevin McLaughlin, our buddy in Locust. Sir Kevin, 8008. Herb Lamb in Sugar Hill, Georgia. Haven't heard from him for a while, 8008.
Nice.
Catching up while on vacation. Eric Adler in Punta Gorda, Florida, 8008. William Kidwell in Dover, Delaware, 7379. Birthday for Gabe Greider in Smithville, Missouri.
For his mom,
I'm not sure.
Mara Lee Greider, her 73rd birthday on June 30th. Nice. And hold on.
She needs an F cancer.
No. Her best friend Susan needs an F cancer. We'll do that at the end.
Greg Kohler in Evansville, Indiana, 6502, which is the chip. Jamie Buell in Vista, California, 6006. Brian Jenek, small boobs. Also Brian Jenek in Kansasville, Wisconsin, 6006. Peter Chong in Lakewood, Washington, 5510. David, there he is, David in Gladstone, Missouri. David Fugazotto, Sir David. He's the Duke, 5151.
Of America's Heartland.
Burt Distributing LLC in Cumming, Georgia, 5069. James Little in Alameda, California, 5033. Loves the trans Maoism material. Scott McCarty in Lodi, California, 50. Oh, and that means we're on the 50. So all $50 donors, name and location. Here we go. Douglas Ellis in New York City. Shauna Norberg in Seattle, Washington. Jack Schofeld in Yankeetown, Florida. Forrest Scott Brinkley in Christiansburg, Virginia. Elizabeth Frankowski in Dade City, Florida. Douglas Mook in Cochranton, Pennsylvania. Gilbert Fraga in Los Angeles. Donald Smith in Westerville, Ohio. Daniel Smith in Lee's Summit, Missouri, needs a de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
Sir Richard Gardner, I think he's in New York, but he could be elsewhere. Aaron Weisgerber in Bend, Oregon. Sonny Pang in Lee, Lancaster, UK. Greg Hartlob in Cincinnati. Michael Elmore in Gastonia, North Carolina. Zev Green in another fellow in Teaneck, New Jersey.
It's getting crowded.
David Steele in Mobile, Alabama. Justin Kaler in Bluffton, Indiana. Ray Howard in Kremlin, Colorado. Kevin McLean in Port St. Lucie, Florida. Simon Smith in Heber City, Utah. Says, thank you for your hard work. The newsletter shame got to me. Please don't stop doing the newsletter.
Never.
Okay. I'm taking his advice.
I like how you sent it to me like Wednesday night at midnight. Newsletter, please review.
Well, I don't do it till the next day. It gives you plenty of time.
Yeah, but I my phone went off. Ding. I'm like, what?
Your phone went off.
Well, I have you on. You're on my
special ding. I got a ding.
No, you're on my. You're allowed to go through the do not disturb. If you call me, it will ring. You're like my family.
Kyle Mann in Cincinnati, Ohio is too, because he gives us $50. Brian Sharp in Huntsville, Alabama. Brandon. Go Brandon Locklear in Sugar Hill, Georgia. Jill Woods in Ocean Grove, New Jersey. And last but not least, Julie Minadeo, maybe, in Costa Mesa, California. I want to thank these people for making show 1568 the success that it is.
And special thanks to everybody who came in under $50, typically for reasons of anonymity, but also a lot of people on those sustaining donations, which are subscriptions. We really appreciate you doing that. It always gives us a base to work from. And as requested...
You've got karma.
We have a quick make-do. This is from Frank Duivenvoorden, who sent...
oh, yes.
His note didn't come in until hours later.
This was like last shows. He sent $600 in, I think, total.
$750 total, I think.
And his note comes in 3 hours after the show's over.
It was very weird. Anyway, here it is. He said, I made a few donations in U.S. dollars before, but things are getting grim up north. So this donation is the Canadian equivalent of $750 and some more dollars. As a part-time Uber driver, I hear a lot of opinions all across the spectrum. Ding. And I get to regularly hit people in the mouth. Adam, as a former Dutchie, I do so appreciate that you too let a Dutch word sometimes seep seamlessly in your elaborations. Vooral doorgaan, ouwe. John C., your insights are priceless and your knowledge of food and wine are refreshing. My lowly Canadian donation hopefully gets me the coveted knighthood. It does. Please knight me Sir Dr. Frank, Knight of the Lonsdale. We got a doctor in the house. He wants house selling and background upgrade karma, and I would like to hear the yes-no jingle. I had to replay that a couple of times for my wife as she loved it so much. Now she sings it randomly. What a woman! Married to her for 29 years, and they never had a fight. Friet speciaal and a koude grols at the round table, please. Hold on, I need to add this here. Didn't see that in the beginning. That's a French fries with a friet speciaal is with mayonnaise, ketchup, and onions.
Mayonnaise, ketchup, and onions.
Yes, on the French fries, friet speciaal. And what do you say? Good luck. The muzzle may never have find an exit strategy. Frank Duivenvoorde in North Vancouver, Gitmo North. What is the no? Wasn't it no? I think it's this one.
Yeah.
No, that's not that one.
No,
it's this one.
No. You're saying yeah, while you're saying no.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
I don't know why you're saying yeah while saying no.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
I don't know why you're saying yeah while saying no.
Yeah, no.
There you go.
Dvorak.org/NA. It's your birthday.
Sir Devin turned 23 on June 4th. We say happy birthday to him. Circumvent wishes Dame G Money a belated happy birthday from the 26th. Sorry we missed that Dame G Money. Matthew Rockball turns 33 today. Kathleen Rego, happy birthday to Pluma. Celebrated yesterday. Sir Dirty Jersey Whore turning 47 today. Chris Casey celebrating on July 29th. Gabe Grider wishes his mother, Marilee Grider, happy birthday. Turns 73 tomorrow. Black Knight Sir EZ turns 44 on the 30th. Jennifer Gourley wishes her husband Bob a happy birthday for July 3rd. Sir Eric wishes his smoking hot wife a happy birthday. And Polat Abdubek wishes his son a happy birthday. We say happy birthday from everybody here at the best podcasting in the universe.
Title changes. Turn and face the slave. Title changes. Don't want to be a douchebag.
We have 3 title changes today. Circumvent becomes, even though he didn't really want the title change, Circumvent, Baron of the Northern Territory. We are happy to give you that title change, sir. Sir Veiled, Viscount of FEMA Region 4, now a Baron. And Sir Hold My Beer becomes a Baronet. All thanks to your additional support of the No Agenda Show, the best podcast in the universe. We really appreciate it. And finally, we got some knights to bring up on stage. There's my blade. We got 3, so bring a 3-prong.
3? Ooh, let me give you the gold-plated one.
Oh, whoa, that's nice. Up on the podium, please, Stephen George, Frank Duivenvoorde, and J.D. Sutton. All 3 of you support the No Agenda Show in the amount of $1,000 or more. Very, very proud to pronounce the KV as Sir Kukaracha of the Northwoods, Sir Dr. Frank, Knight of Lonsdale, and Sir J.D., Knight of the Shimmering Sea. Gentlemen, for you, we've got Hookers and Blow, Rent Boys and Chardonnay, Rockner, Minnesota Rye Whiskey, and Costco Pepperoni Pizza, Friet Speciaal, and a koude grols. And, of course, we have Rubenesque Women and Rosé. We've got Geishas and Sake, Vodka Vanilla, Bong Hits and Bourbon, Sparkling Cider and Escort, Ginger Ale and Gerbils, Breast Milk and Pablum, and, of course, the staple of the round table, Mutton and Mead. Head over to noagendarings.com and let us know. You can see the handsome rings right there. Let us know where to send them, what size you need, and with that, of course, comes your wax to seal your very important correspondence with. In addition to that, there's the certificate of authenticity. They really are quite beautiful, these rings. And noagendarings.com is where you can find out all about them. Thank you all so much for supporting the best podcast in the universe.
No agenda meetups.
Yo, a party indeed, and there was a big party in Aurora, Illinois at the meetup from Brian, who did that meetup, who arranged all that. He sent in a written report. He says mostly familiar faces, but there were some new ones. We had like 10 to 12 people at most 3 nights, and dames, I forgot my ring, so I bought some drinks. No need to mention on the show. Well, too late. But I'm hosting one in Batavia, Illinois next Sunday. That's July 2nd, if you'd care to mention. Yes, of course, Brian. We are very happy to mention that. I would also like to play this promo for the North Idaho Flotilla meetup because you need to prepare for it.
Hey man, I can't seem to find a place where I won't be triggered or held to blame. A place where everybody feels the same, you know, like a party. If you're looking for a party this August, come out to Lake Coeur d'Alene, where the North Idaho Sanity Brigade is hosting a party where
all slaves of Gitmo Nation
can hang out together for a day of fun in the sun. Mark your calendars for Saturday, August 12th, and if you got a boat, bring one. But don't forget to RSVP.
That's right.
The beaches are open.
Today, the South Mississippi Testing the Turnout meetup is taking place at 325th Street in Laurel, Missouri. That'll be at 6 o'clock today. The Mile High Rain Dodgers 630 Mountain Lincoln's Roadhouse in Denver, Colorado. The I Must Be High number 12, 1 year of meetups. That'll be tomorrow at McSorley's Wonderful Saloon and Grill in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Fort Wayne Club 33, the No OOO Agenda meetup, Hall's Tavern at Coventry in Fort Wayne, Indiana, Saturday. Also on Saturday, the Central Ohio meetup at 3 o'clock in Germet Biergarten in Columbus, Ohio. And the Riverside on the Fox meetup will take place on Sunday, our next show day at 2 o'clock at Riverside Pizza and Pub in Batavia, Illinois. These are just a few of the many No Agenda meetups that are scheduled for the next few days, but they really go through months and months all over the world, including Zurich, Switzerland on July 15th. And we still have the July 9th in Cannes, France. I'd like to know where that's being held and who is taking care of that. And I would like a meetup report from you guys. No Agenda Meetups. Go to noagendameetups.com. You need this to find your community. You will be loved. You will be kept safe. Connection is protection. That's why you need to go to No Agenda Meetup. NoAgendaMeetups.com. If you can't find one near you, start one yourself.
Sometimes you want to go hang out with all the nights and days. You want to be where you won't be triggered or held to blame. You want to be where everybody feels the same. It's like a party.
Sure is. Do you have any ISOs? Oh, yes, you do. Thank goodness. I'm poor on ISOs today.
You have none?
I have one ISO.
Well, play yours first.
It's no good. I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed that I'm playing this, but here we go.
Happy Pride.
I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed of it.
Oh, yeah, that is bad.
I'm ashamed of it.
Run it through the Adobe product. Maybe it'll be better.
No, nothing can fix the Admiral.
All right, I got 3.
Okay.
Let's start with mindless.
Mindless, obedient soldiers.
Okay, is that Peterson?
Yeah. No agenda.
I had no agenda.
That's the North Korean woman.
Yeah.
She has this long spiel she gives, and Mimi caught her saying no agenda at the 33-second mark.
No, that's a sign.
Yeah.
That's a sign if I ever heard one.
Something's up. And then last is thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
So see, the last one is the best because we got the 4th of July weekend coming up.
Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, it's not that clear, but it'll have to do.
It's not clear. Run it through the
what do you think I have time to do all this? Do you know how much work I do? I make it look easy, Dvorak. You just sit there and grouse in the mic. I do all the work.
My job is, but that's my job. My job is to grouse in the mic. And grousing is not easy.
I'll give you that. It's not easy. All right. We have room. We have time for one more something or other, I'm sure.
Well, I have a 2-parter I want to get out of the way.
Okay.
And this is the Germany getting cozy with China clips.
Ooh.
And I think they're important because something's up with these clips.
Okay. I have my thoughts already. I'm looking forward to it. Clip 1.
One step closer to China, one step away from Europe. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz and Chinese Premier Li Qiang on Tuesday agreed to support free trade after intergovernmental talks in Berlin. Scholz has come under fire for the talks, which critics say are not appropriate anymore given growing geopolitical tensions between the West and China. A German intelligence agency published a warning in a report on Tuesday. The report says China is aiming to obtain German technology to bolster its military. It also highlights the risk of cyber spying operations. Despite that, the German Chancellor defended his position on the two countries' relationship. Author and historian Philippe Fabry says Germany's tough spot comes from the country's economic choices.
A large part of China's industrialization has been achieved through the purchase of German machine tools, which is the biggest export sector for the German economy. So naturally, exporting those is vital for Germany. This conditions Germany's relationship with China and puts it at odds with the interests of many other Western countries, notably the United States.
The German Chancellor's position doesn't come as a surprise, though.
Yeah.
When visiting China in November 2022, Scholz promoted partnership with the country. And in May, he confirmed a deal to allow a Chinese shipping company to take a minority stake in a container terminal at Hamburg port. Fabry says these moves from Germany make it more and more isolated from other EU countries.
Since the start of the war in Ukraine, there has been a loss of German influence in Europe. That's because of a whole host of German strategies, and in particular, Germany's dependence on Russian gas, which has brought some form of discredit.
Okay, I love this. Good clip. Here's what I think is happening. I know you have a second one, so I'll just give you my unsolicited feedback. Germany got screwed. They've been screwed over by being hypnotized into believing it was a good idea to get rid of their nuclear, get rid of all their. I mean, they were the powerhouse of Europe. When they used to say, if Germany sneezes, the rest of Europe gets the flu, and that's no longer the case. So they got completely psyoped in getting rid of all of that. They have no industry. Then we blew up the pipeline, so they have no gas. They have nothing to do, and now they're going to become part of the Belt and Road scenario for China, and they will become the adversary in Europe. How does that sound?
Right on.
Right on, man. Right on. Nailed it.
Right on.
Right on.
Far out.
Groovy. Groovy, baby.
Here's part two.
Case in point. On the same day as Germany's announcement, the EU published an economic security plan. It seeks to convince the bloc's 27 states to agree stronger control on exports. It's particularly focused on technologies that could be put to military use by rivals like China.
I think we're seeing a power struggle as the EU pledges to harden its relationship with China, which is also hoped for by the US camp, who are determined to have the Europeans on their side in the strategic confrontation against China.
Wow. That's, you know what? Even though it's late in the day, I think that deserves it.
Clip of the day.
Out of left field.
Yep.
Totally.
This is a big deal.
Belt and Road with China. And they're going to have the shipping come right up onto the... Oh, man. Wow.
That's the crack in the EU dam right there.
Nobody, they won't know what to do. They won't know what to do. I wonder if they even see it, stupid morons.
Well, Germany's got to do something about their power issues.
Well, they I don't know what to do. Fire up the ovens, boys. I don't know.
Please, uncalled for.
Uncalled for. Totally uncalled for. I don't know. I had to get us out of here. Coming up next on your No Agenda stream or in your modern podcast app, if you're using it, we've got our Big Dumb Mouth. It's show 1111. All right. End of show mixes. We've got Dee's Laughs. We've got some Jesse Coy Nelson, and by request, Hugh Allison with the Scam Song. which is a fan favorite. We all like that a lot. We look forward to seeing you again on Sunday. That'll be, just before the 4th of July. It'll be the 2nd of July.
This will be 4th of July. We're working on the 4th of July 4-day weekend.
There you go. And
there we are, working again.
We'll be working again. Coming to you from the heart of the Texas Hill Country here in FEMA Region number 6 in the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
Man from Northern Silicon Valley, I'm John C. Dvorak.
We return on the 4-day weekend that we're working. Remember us at Dvorak.org/NA. Until then, adios, mofos, a hooey, and the such.
That's just patently absurd.
It's so absurd, it's insulting.
It is.
This might be a hot take, for goodness sake. Follow the money, you dummy, just to see who's on the take. They incentivize, sterilize. Better measure for your wealth should be your health. Doctors praised by the public as an expert class. One size fits solution, all the masses trash. All praise due like a clergy in a mass form, not to question the science consensus like Neil deGrasse. What about the Del Big Tree debate? On the high wire, left to left, these irate. RFK, Rogan, and Andrew Tate put up millions for charity to get Hotez to debate. You turned it down. I write a paper, nah, I'm straight, nah, you're a clown. No agenda producers where we get our news. More boots on the ground with great reviews. Show notes, search, and media dissection. Meetups are proof that connection is your best protection. See you in Toronto, I must be high. Meet up at McSorley's, just come on out and don't ask why. You all Harari in the Bible, updated by AI. These lizard people are not going away, ask yourself why. Screen time, take the phone from kids, it's turning into screen time. Who's addicted, more the parents or the kids? Autism and the spectrum is expanding. 1 in 10K 30 years ago, 1 in 34, and it's pretty maddening. They don't really want to know. RFK will be fact-checked by the fact-checkers for show.
Is a scam. This thing is a scam. This whole thing.
Life is a scam.
This thing is a scam. Life is a scam. Everybody's in on the scheme. This whole thing.
Death and destruction. Life is a scam.
This thing is a scam. This whole thing. Life is a scam.
Life is a scam. Life is a scam.
This thing is a scam.
Memes. Just imagine using the same meme image endlessly for days and weeks and months and even years.
POSTMEMES. Post memes. Memes.
But to understand why we use the word meme, you have to go back to 1976. When Richard Dawkins wrote this book, The Selfish Gene.
The meme is a unit of cultural inheritance. It's anything that's copied, anything that's imitated, anything that spreads around like a virus.
I'm surprised that people took my criticism of memes so seriously. It's like, I don't care. You do whatever you want. I'm just saying.
You notice that most memes really stink?
Yeah, and people, they're proud of having 10,000 memes.
Lousy memes.
Lousy memes in a folder.
Instead of having one or two good ones, they have like one after another after any meme. There's a meme, let me post it.
I was like an appliance salesman. I hated my life. I was super sad. I was just on Facebook all the time making dumb memes. So then I just got fed up after like my van broke down, my girlfriend broke up with me. I was just lonely and I just sold all of my stuff with like $300 and flew out to LA. I've literally survived off of meme money like this whole like year. Like
where the fuck is he going to get a job where he can look at memes all day?
Dvorak.org/NA.
Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.